I wasn't there when it happened, but I remember being at your house and you were showing me like, yo, this is where I was standing when my brother threw a dart at me. And fucking stuck in your back or something like that.
In my shoulder, bro. Me and my brother hit puberty really early, and I hit puberty really late. And we had a 2-year difference. And he was old for his grade, and I was young for my grade. So all his friends would come. It was a fucking like men with a little kid. But I was a savage. Like, I don't give a fuck. And like, I would just take the beating, you know. Like, I'd talk some shit and just like, all right, I get my beating. This is gonna suck. But me and John were talking shit, and I had a dartboard, and I don't know. I think I threw it at him, but I threw it like in a circle, you know.
Okay.
And it kind of hit him, but like the back of it hit it, and he just took it up. And who knew my brother was a professional dart player? I see him, he goes and he throws it just straight like you throw a dart. And I see it spiraling, and I go and I turn to run, and it goes. Doo. And, dude, to be honest, it didn't hurt, but it stuck in there.
It scared you.
But I just went, oh, and I fell on the ground. And then, like, after like 2 minutes, I just like pulled down. I was like, and put a Band-Aid on it, went to school. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the motherfucking Water Tower podcast. This is episode number 17. Good year. I was a senior at 17.
Oh, yeah. You were the youngest kid in our class,
Can't
Jay.
go to jail. Can't go to adult prison. But anyways, subscribe. Follow us on everything. All the social medias. Even if we're not on it, follow us. watertowerpodcast.com. watertowerpodcast.com. Nick, what is it?
watertowerpodcast.com.
And check us out on PornHub.com. PornHub.com. Just
/WTP.
We'll get there. We know people. I'm an avid viewer.
We're going to sell ads for them.
Yeah. Anyways, welcome to the show. We decided to keep things loose. We got some Stella's Artois. We got some Patron Silver to drink. Nick's taking a shot. I'm going to sip it on ice. We got a blunt, and we got some cigaros. So
it's fucking party time, Jay.
Last 2 weeks, we kept it kind of PG.
Yeah, we kind of did. I mean, there was some cussing, but yeah, we were sober for sure.
We weren't hurting our bodies.
Well, and you know what? Last time we did the morning show and we had coffee, dude, we fucking went, 2 hours and 20 minutes, some shit like that?
Dude, I was like falling asleep at the beginning, and then all of a sudden kicked in. I was like, whoa!
Yeah, dude. And now I think for those of you that may not know, and you probably don't because we have mentioned it a couple times, but maybe you missed it. We say some random ass, crazy, dumb ass shit when we get buzzed, and that stuff usually doesn't make the cuts. So that shit's usually edited out, and for the better, maybe. But I mean, there's some funny shit that we edit out sometimes. So we're still figuring out what the fuck to do with that content because we still got it.
And just imagine all the dumb shit I say that we keep in the episode. So we got to get this Patreon going and get a Patreon going. You pay a small fee a month, and we'll send you the shit that could get us arrested. I don't know. Yeah, Nick is jacking off an invisible man right now and pointing at me. I don't know what's going on. Back at you, buddy. By the way, what's up with this shirt? I like it.
So, we're going to get into a little bit of conspiracy talk today, and so I figured I'd wear my Mother and Jesus shirt. It's very, this is depicted in so many fucking art installations from the 1700s, 1600s.
That actual graphic right there?
That actual graphic, yeah. And it's basically mother and son. It's Mary and Jesus, and it's,
with a UFO in the back or something?
Yeah, and actually, dude, I trip out. I got this bed off of Craigslist. This is like 2015 maybe. I got this bed off of Craigslist. Some guy, I went over there, and he's from Jordan or somewhere out there in the Middle East. And I go in this shirt, and he's looking at my shirt, and he says, hey, hold on, what does it say right there? And I said, I don't know. Shit, I don't speak this language,
You're just rocking it?
Yeah,
you're like the white dude with the Asian writing on his arm. It just means some bullshit?
Yes. It says I'm a cunt.
Like waterfalls.
Yeah, right. And so it's a diamond shirt, and I guess it says Diamond Life. And so that's what he said. He's like, Diamond Life. Oh, that says Diamond Life. I was like, okay, that makes sense. It's fucking made by Diamond Corporation.
That reminds me of Salim Shahibi. Shout out to Salim Shahibi. But he was always into fashion. I could see him like Diamond Lifing it up.
Oh, totally. Echo.
Dude, P. Diddy jeans or some shit.
Dude, I remember him spending fucking thousands of dollars on clothes and shit.
Dude, he wore some jeans one day and they had patches all over him or some shit. And I was like, it just looked like P. Diddy, like from the 90s.
But he fucking rocked him, dude.
Yeah,
Fucking
he had the fucking earrings, right? He fucking had to go in the shoes.
I remember him and Brian had like these Ferrari shoes that had came out. I think they were Echo and like Echo Unlimited and Fubu. And
Dude, Celine probably has a Ferrari in Yemen, but you know, if you're fucking rocking Ferrari shoes without a Ferrari, damn. What does that say? I could afford the shoes.
Dude, and he was driving hella young, or like sophomores. Like he had his Tahoe, like a white Tahoe, or juniors.
But dude, Tony Mendez was driving in junior high.
This is true.
Like,
Yeah,
I was driving
true.
like 13, giving my mom cigarettes. You know, like everyone in Lindsay drove back then. It was fucking awesome.
You know what's funny? Every time I've lit a cigar or a blunt on here, I always put my hand in front of it, like there's fucking air in here. I'm like,
oh, I do the same thing. I don't know. Well, the AC's on, so technically there's some air.
Yeah.
Or it was on. But
thanks for the justification, Jay.
So what's been fucking going on?
Well, fucking Jay hit me up about half an hour ago and I was like, hey, I'm gonna get some beer. Any request? Yeah, get a bottle of Patron. It's like, you fucking crazy ass Jay.
Speaking of,
he said, let's party tonight. Fuck it.
Yeah, you know, fucking politics and all the bullshit going on, and
we were supposed to get some fucking juicy ass information today from Ghislaine Maxwell's fucking files.
That fucking whore. You know how excited I was?
Oh, dude.
I was the most excited, sadly, I've been in a long time. all week, I was like, fuck Thursday. And I wake up, I just start Googling right away, 9 a.m. Fucking nothing.
Yeah, I seen that they postponed them or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, the lawyers they sent like a letter and then got turned down, or I don't fucking know. And apparently some shit got released, but I can't find it. So I don't know if that's bullshit or what, but it ain't anywhere to be found from what I could tell.
No, goddamn, these motherfuckers, dude. And I read an article real quick because I was just looking, and I mean, basically from reading the headlines, I can kind of tell what's going on. But I said, you know what, let me click on one of these and let me read through this shit because I want to see what this person's saying. And it was about her special treatment in this prison, right? It's like other inmates had to scrub her floor and polish her floors, and she has her own floor to herself.
Just because she's balling or what?
Well, so they're changing her cell every day. So every day she goes into a new cell because they want to prevent her from hiding contraband and trying to do something to herself or whatever. Yeah. Which was interesting. It's like, and all the other women there are like, what the fuck? This bitch has her own floor, you know? Like, and they interviewed a couple other inmates, and they're like pissed because like, you have to polish her floor, and fucking she's getting the special treatment she gets. All the other inmates get 2 hours of, I don't know what the fuck it's called, outside time or whatever. Recreation time, yeah, right. And she gets 3 hours.
Oh, shit.
Fucking bitch.
Hey, money. I hear when you, like, if you're in fucking, I've never been, but when, I have been to prison to visit people, but never in. But, like, when you're fucking, you know, got the money, you could buy shit. You could buy people. You could buy protection. You could start a store. You get an income. It's like a business.
Right, dude.
Safety.
Fucking dude, we seen we seen Epstein in the documentary when he went to fucking jail. He wasn't even in jail. He only had to go there for like 3 hours a day or some shit like that. I remember just to sleep there or something.
Yeah, do you remember when Martha Stewart went to jail and she was on a golf cart outside or something? Like, I want to be rich.
It looked more like a fancy ass hotel.
Yeah.
Oh it's my goodness.
Or you could just be like Escobar and build your own prison.
And it was fucked up for her too. I mean, I get it, you know, insider trading shit, but like she's hella cool, man. I love Martha. Fuck.
Yeah, she's doing all right. She's hanging out with Snoop.
Blazing with Snoop. I think she just accepted someone's challenge to like smoke weed with her. I forgot who it was, but I read something on Instagram.
Yeah, what was that? I don't know.
It
was Khalifa or something? Am I saying his name right? Is it Wiz Khalifa or is it Wiz Khalif?
Khalifa.
Khalifa.
Mm-hmm,
okay.
Mm-hmm. But it makes you think of Mia Khalifa, right?
Dude, what did I see about her recently? Fuck. I don't know. It was like on TikTok, and they had her like her picture and her name up, and talked about how she was the best like Middle Eastern humanitarian, and all these people were buying into it.
Nice.
By the way, if you don't know who she is, fucking go on PornHub and type her name.
Then shame on you, motherfuckers.
Yeah. She's like a Arabic. I don't know.
She's not even Arabic.
She's not Arabic.
No.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. So there's all this shit going on with PornHub. She's suing, and it's. Because they always portrayed her as an Arabic,
but
right?
sometimes she wears like shit.
Yeah, she bought into that whole fucking program. Oh. And yeah, she's not even Arabic. And I guess PornHub is like, I mean, obviously it's a bad industry. And
yeah,
they're fucking ripping all these women for all the money, you know, and giving them pennies on the dollar. I mean, typical fucking big-ass corporations. But yeah, she's suing them for defamation. What's it? Defamation.
Defamation.
And all kinds of other shit. And there's a bunch of people on her side, but it's like,
she also seems like a crazy bitch.
She does. And I've heard, you know, stories about celebrities. She's married now, but...
Oh.
Damn, she's fucking fine.
Yeah, she's a good-looking gal. Good-looking gal.
Bitch.
But fuck, did I ever tell you that what's the kink.com? It's like the kinky shit.
Whoa.
You ever check out kink.com?
No.
Well, I think they left, but they used to, when I lived in San Francisco, they filmed there for years. I think the last 2 years or something they left. But they had this old army barracks in the middle of the Mission neighborhood. It's fucking like a dungeon looking place, but it's huge. And it's like kind of like famous, but I guess it was like running out of money. So they bought it up and started fucking kink.com. And dude, they would shoot like stuff you probably didn't even know. You've probably seen some of their shit for sure. Just all kinds of shit, all kinds of different rooms. So I was in art school, Academy of Art San Francisco, and they made me take drawing. I was doing web design. But you have to take a drawing class for some fucking reason. It was cool, but whatever. But my teacher was the same age as me, and her and this other girl that was the same age. We're a little older than everyone because we were getting our second degrees, me and this girl. And we started hanging out with her, drinking, fucking after class. She was hella cool. And she was talking about she got hired by them. And the CEO, like, would bring her in and, like, it's like kinky fucking dungeon shit, right? And would, like, buy these $1,000 paintings or like multi-$1,000 paintings from Europe and bring them over, and she's like, they're masterpieces because she's an artist, and he'd be like, yeah, paint a cock on it. So and then he'd pay her like $90,000 a year starting right out of college. He probably liked her, who knows? But
so she wasn't a porn star.
No, she was a fucking artist.
Oh, shit.
And so, she would just ruin these paintings. She was like, kind of hurt, but at the same time, like, it was kind of funny.
That's
and they paid a bunch of money.
Dude, that's badass.
Dude, she had some fucking stories, dude.
Dude, I would love to see one of those paintings. That's got to be badass.
She's like, anytime you want to go, like, they do tours and stuff. And I always wanted to, but it never worked out. But
rubber gloves and mask.
She said she had to quit. She said, I had to quit when I had a meeting with the CEO. There's actually a bar, catty corner to the barracks if you're in San Francisco. I think it's called Kink or something, but it's catty corner.
Shocking.
It's fucking amazing. She did all the interior design. Apparently there's a dungeon down in the basement there too. But they were like, you ever done interior design? She's like, no. They're like, well, here's a budget. Make it happen. It looks fucking badass, dude. Like gold crown, like old school, dude, cool wallpaper. Hooked up.
They did like her ass.
Yeah, and she's like, I had to quit though because she was, dating this doctor, like almost getting married.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and they brought her.
What does your wife do?
Yeah. So they brought her in for a meeting, and the guy's like, hold on, you want some champagne? She's like, yeah. She says, out of nowhere, a gimp crawls out, and they place a silver platter on his back, and they start drinking champagne. Might have been a guy or female, I don't know. And they and she's just like, what the fuck? And then he just sat there quiet the whole time, and the guy acted like nothing happened, like this was normal. So people would live there and get on a list to get in there and just like be part of this sexual fantasy world.
Crazy,
slaves.
Bro.
They wanted to do it. Sexual slaves.
Interesting, dude.
Fucking cool, man.
You know what, man? That's a world that I never. First of all, I never even knew existed. I was so fucking naive to that kind of shit growing up, and even fucking into my college days. It was until I don't know 6 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, that I really knew there's some crazy shit Well, of course, after that movie, what was that sex movie that fucking all the women love?
Oh, the 50 Shades of Grey?
Yeah, 50 Shades of Grey, all that shit.
I hated that movie.
I didn't even watch it, but I kind of got the premise of it. And, dude, after that, then a lot of this shit started coming out, dude. All this fucking, I don't even know, BTSM or what is it called?
BDSM. I love how you're acting like you don't know it.
Thanks, I know.
Didn't you show me your mask the other day?
Dude. And the whip. It's a matching pair.
The leather mask and the red ball that goes in your mouth.
Well, so, dude, in archaeology, I've had classmates where, we get together for group projects and shit like that. And conversations go wherever the fuck they may go. But there was a couple people who said they were interested in that shit and that they would go to the Bay Area. And because that's where it was all at.
Yeah, dude. You can't avoid it in the Bay Area. You'll run into it.
Oh, dude, I bet.
Dude, it's cool, though, because, I didn't know much either. I just watched some porn growing up on the legal black box. But, I didn't know that people would actually live there, day and night. And that was just... They get I don't know if they get a paycheck.
Get off on that, dude.
They're just fucking treated like shit. And
that's crazy.
And then people get off on controlling them and vice versa. And it's interesting. But yeah, I remember I was working at the Mint Karaoke Bar. I always talk about the bar I worked in San Francisco.
You love them.
Fucking love it. Fucking love it. It just exposed me to so much drag queens just come in, famous ones apparently. I don't know. But they're just fucking cool as fuck. You just
Right.
fucking, you're gonna have an interesting conversation with this person. You know nothing about their lifestyle, and they're just like, yeah, this is when I was this age, and they just go into it. And man, a lot of them got fucked up stories about their parents and families. And I met a Middle Eastern guy who came out gay, and his Iran or something, they disowned him. He had to move out of there before he got in trouble.
That gets deadly, I bet.
Dude, it's insane. But a girl walked in one night, and my buddy Ray, shout out to Ray in San Diego. Ray was like after she walked out, and we're closing, there's just bartenders and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I don't want to say how much porn I watch, but that girl came in earlier, sitting over here, definitely a famous porn star. Famous. Her name's da-da-da-da-da. Look, I got it on my phone.
Oh, shit, he got her.
We didn't even know, dude. She's I don't know, sweatpants. I don't even know what she's
Oh, that's fucking awesome,
I would
dude.
never have guessed.
You know what? Something similar happened. Actually, with archaeology buddies, we had a little get together in Folsom at a bar up there. One of my buddies used to bounce over there, and this fucking smoking hot fucking blonde came to the back patio where we were hanging out. I mean, just fucking drop dead gorgeous, right? And then she leaves, and that's what my buddy said. He's like, "Oh, she's a porn star. She comes here a lot. She's super famous." Like, oh shit, fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking interesting. It's cool. It's for a guy that grew up in a small little town in the Central Valley. It's fuck, dude. I feel like my life just got way more interesting talking to these people. But yeah, it's insane. Just the amount of stories just from working at that bar. It's fucking insane. And I'm sure, if those walls could talk even before my time, catching people fucking in the bathroom and
wow.
Free for all, man.
Oh, I bet. And that's Frisco. I mean, fuck. The only real memories I have of getting fucking plastered at bars is in the Central Valley. Never really, partied in Mexico and that kind of shit, but, never partied. I mean, I've gone to LA and partied maybe at night, but it wasn't San Francisco's ongoing. I'm sure you were out there fucking seeing shit every fucking day.
It's dying out though. It's changed. Even I don't know, I've been in the Mint in a while on COVID and all that, but for the last year or two, it's they're trying to make a comeback, but people got moved out, and a lot of the fucking interesting people can't live there. I mean, I went to a bar in North Beach, met this old communist writer, and he went down to Cuba in the 60s, and it was just fucking cool conversations you would never, in the Valley you have some cool conversations, but you're hearing the same conversation over and over usually. Right. Because there's not a lot of people traveling there and living there from other parts of the world or country, and tourists visiting. Fucking tourists left and right, man. Good place to be single.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Totally, man. And that's, I was going to say something about that. Was man, these porn stars, imagine, I always wonder, as a parent, do these fucking people have kids? What if their kids fucking stumble across that shit one day?
Yeah, go on. There's some documentaries on Netflix about that. And,
okay.
It's sad, but there's also some positive sides to it. But for women, especially the age of being a porn star is very limited, and to make money, what's her name, Jenna Jameson, that's so rare. That's so rare. But some people are killing it, some people are doing it, but it's a crazy industry. Even the men, there's depression. There was this one documentary, I think on Netflix, something about porn, but this man, he was the king porn guy, and it's hard to find apparently a good male porn artist. Keeping their dick hard, knowing when to go, because it's cut, stop, and they gotta keep it going, And it's not just having sex. It's a shooting a movie or something.
Yeah, right.
So they got to cut. The girl needs to move.
That's awesome.
But he did gay porn. He was straight.
Oh shit!
And you could tell he had to do this. It was the you probably know this guy Nick. He does a lot of the documentaries. British guy, skinny with glasses. Usually, I think he used to be on BBC or something, but. He does KKK stuff. He does all kinds of random ass cool stuff, and he's nerdy and dorky and just keeps asking questions. But he was asking me before the scene, he's like, "So you're straight?" Yes. So you're gonna have sex with a gay guy right now? Yes. You could tell the guy didn't want to talk, and he's got the camera in his face, and he's like, "So are you top, bottom? How does that?" Dude, it's great. You gotta watch it. That guy
What's the script look like?
That guy wants to fucking kill him.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
It was depressing, drugs and
dude, I bet that gets fucking nasty, dude. I mean, not nasty not no pun intended in that, but nasty just gruesome and just dog eat dog,
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's interesting. Check if I don't know what it's called. But
you know what? I saw this meme. This was months ago, but it was Yeah, my neighbor called me to fix her dryer, and I'm still here fixing her fucking dryer. What's her problem? She doesn't watch PornHub?
And the handyman. Chicka bow wow. Right. Do we have a chicka bow wow on our fucking thing?
We need a chicka bow wow.
We definitely do on our soundboard. But
chicka bow wow on Rodecaster Pro.
Yeah, you were talking about like only getting really fucked up at bars in the valley. And a Rolodex in my head just went Vietnam, Panama, San Francisco, you know, like dude, fucking China. I was just like, oh, dude, like, yeah, I've done some stupid shit, and I'm so glad I did it. So glad I did it.
Fuck yeah, bro. You know what, Jay? Obviously I had kids at a young age. I was 22 years old when my first kid was born. And so I think me and you are going to live a backward, like reverse lives, you know? It's like you had all your fun. And then, you know, by the time my kids are out of high school,
I'll be young.
Like 42 years old.
Yeah.
And so it's like, fuck it, man. I already told my wife, like, either they're staying or they're going with us or whatever. We're going to give them a choice and we're fucking out of here, man. We're going to go have some fucking fun.
Yeah, I used to always like hate like fuck everyone in the valley's having kids like because I want everyone to come with me. All you guys come with me.
Know, man.
And I'm like motherfucker. So I felt like a loner. So then that's why I moved. And then you know then you meet other like-minded people. But then my brother was like, when are you having a fucking kid? He also has a daughter, you know.
Right.
And she's 13 now, and he's like, dude, you're going to be fucking old with a 10-year-old. And I started thinking, I'm like, oh, shit. He's like, you're going to be running around at 60 with like a fucking 15-year-old, 12-year-old or something. I'm like, oh, shit, man. You're right. But you know what? That's why you got to I had all my fun, and I'm excited to watch you guys have some fun, man.
Yeah. Hey, you know, cheers to that, man, because likewise, it was, you know, when I saw you and Craig and, you know, everybody going out to college and like, dude, that was fucking awesome, man. You know, I kind of wished I was part of that group that went out and did that. But, you know, even that in high school, I was this fucking dumbass. You know, I did the what is that test? ASVAB, you know? And
that's
all that
for the military. I don't know.
What are those tests to go to college? Like, I took all those tests and shit.
I didn't take any of them. I was an idiot in high school, dude. It took me about 2 years after high school to kick into gear.
Oh, okay. That's when you went to college?
I was just hanging out. Fucking
oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, dude, and then, dude, so, of course, I was a fucking dog. No, I wasn't. Yeah, I was.
A Pedro.
I was a perro.
Ooh.
But, dude, I had my girlfriend living with me when I was like 16 years old. Like living in my house, like had her clothes there and everything. Fucking crazy, dude. And then, you know, by the time, you know, my mom kicked us out and we went to my grandma's house. And by then I was 18 years old out of high school and, you know, got a job and then fucking, you know, bought a house at 19 years old and moved her into the house. Like, fuck,
dude, you guys were balling there.
Way too, yeah,
had a Mercedes.
Yeah, it was nice for a
second.
second.
Parties. We would barbecue, clams or some shit.
Oysters all the time. Lobsters.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a life, man. That was a brief little segment of that. And then, you know, of course, then we got pregnant and then all that shit went to shit, you know, because, you know, we were only balling because she had a good job. I had a good job. But then when she got pregnant, you know, her good job ended and fucking I bought into a balloon rate mortgage that just fucked me in the ass.
Because you had a variable rate, right?
I had a variable rate that skyrocketed in fucking
For a young kid, they took advantage of you a little bit.
Oh, they totally did. Yeah. They should have never gave me a loan. Motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's how they make their money, you know. I remember hearing about that actually, and I made a rule in my head because I was like, "Fuck, what is Nick doing? He's got like 2 cars, a house. Like, I'm fucking sitting here in my mom's house, unemployed, like no education. Like, what the fuck?" And then I remember like it like all went away, or like I heard something you might have said or someone, and I was like, all right, new rule. Never, ever variable rate. I don't understand fixed rate and all that shit, but I just know I'm staying away from variable.
Yeah, right. And, dude, and all it was basically like I was at work and I was talking about moving out and a coworker was like, hey, my sister's a real estate agent. Let me put you in contact with her. I was like, all right, yeah, send her my way. So I got in contact with her, went to her office and was like, I don't have no fucking credit. She's like, well, just get a credit card for like 3 months, and then that'll be enough credit to get you a house. Which is like, now I think about it, like, what
worst
the fuck?
advice.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Telling a young kid with no credit. Did you have a job?
Yeah, I had a damn good job. Yeah, I was making bank, and my wife was making bank too. And, well, she wasn't my wife at the time. And, yeah, I mean, it seemed to work out great. You know, it was like, you know, fuck, dude, this was 2005. I had a $1,400 house payment. Like, like that was fucking stupid, dude. But we did it, man, and we made it work, and it lasted only so long. But, yeah, I definitely got fucked, dude.
We definitely got the party worth out of it.
Oh, yeah.
There's always parties over there.
Yeah, and then, you know, I was a contractor. I did construction for a living, so I decked the hell out of the house, you know, painted it, was building a barbecue in the back.
Shout out to Birdland, Visalia, California.
Hey, that was fucking, dude.
Scuba lived down the street.
Yeah,
my brother
right.
lived with them for a while. Chapel.
Right,
yeah.
Hey, that was a party neighborhood right there.
Yeah, I spent a lot of parties at that house.
Dude, I remember people would go to parties at their house, and then they'd come to my house or park in my yard or whatever. You know, it was like the next road over. Like people would just walk over, and then I would always go and play poker. Speaking of which, they're having I think it was 6th annual AFU poker tournament down there.
They have an annual poker tournament?
Yeah, they have an annual poker tournament.
Okay, can you explain? So I remember seeing AFU on the back of everyone's cars, the stickers. I'm like, Arizona, Fresno, what the fuck? And then you find out it's all fucked up. Like, obviously, the white kids weren't a part of that. Obviously, we weren't allowed in. But, it was just, where did it spawn from? Who started that?
Yeah, so it was actually, I don't know who came up with the actual name, and maybe if you're viewing and you can comment down below, but when Chepo, Chris Pedroza, and Steven Salinas got together and were rapping, and then, that was their crew name, was AFU. It was kind of their slogan, and it stood for all fucked up. That was kind of I think it was just spurred
high
out
end drinking, right?
Yeah, high end drinking, right. Going to parties. It was kind of that slogan, all fucked up. But then they also dubbed it All Families United. After a while, like I don't know, maybe
when they had kids,
PG-13 it or whatever. But it was definitely the mantra, man.
When they tried to get the LLC, they just switched the name. Oops. But that's funny. Yeah, but definitely, and it branched out. Like other people, I was like, damn, I didn't know they're part of that.
Yeah, everybody got it, man. Stickers and fucking bumpers and window stickers and all this shit. Yeah, totally. It totally got branched out. Speaking of which, man, I'm not in contact with with fucking any of those guys anymore. But damn, man, I loved watching them, man. Especially Chris had that voice, that R&B, like.
But also could rap.
He
had a really good voice.
He had it, man. Maybe he still does. I don't know.
In high school, he sang an Incubus song.
Remember that?
And then out of all of them, they were all cool. Like Scuba, Phazed One, I think he called himself. And
right.
then, but I just remember hearing them. They're all pretty good. But I remember hearing Chris and going, I think he's gonna go for it.
I thought the same thing, man.
He's got vocals. He could really sing. He was in choir with his brother, Finney, right? I think they're both in choir. And then he fucking could rap. I loved the flow he had. I don't remember any of it, but I remember he had something describing the valley, and it was just how he wrote, and I fucking dug it.
Oh, dude, I dug it too. Speaking of which, look, we'll just link a video down below, and you can check him out.
Say AFU, say AFU, say make money, to change, cause I be in the main back, but you can keep the range. I'm just trying to get to where I'm going, stay free and slow going, never look back, and keep away from them hood rats. It's all good, so where the hood at? Denim jeans, white tees, and white teeth, yeah, I'm a hood cat, and I ain't never cooling down, can't go back. We game face, never play around, never play it for the sound, let me get up on the beat, right, hot shit, make it bump it loud in the street. I just touched the valley floor, and we got the type of swag that you really can't ignore. You can't ignore me, sitting, chilling, puffing on the weed. We lay back, summertime up in Cali, Central Valley, blowing on that homegrown and wildin', rolling real slow, we low pro style.
When I step up in the place, haters get the fuck about my face, cause I ain't talking, but this is my space. The wild place I never pay, get the fuck about my way, not the MIATN, California all day. I get that Russell money, get to pop that bubble money, yup, that hustle money. That shit is funny, you're stunting, you're running while I'm writing. Your girl trying to tell you something, she whisper in your ear, you ain't nothing. You throw a stack and laugh, I'll fucking beat your ass. I'll flop a guac and a walk no crap for all that pussy talk. I'm getting my dinero, you're gonna be getting narrow. My crew got more G's than Gino, we global apparel. Make some noise, Lindsay.
Yeah, you know what? It was they had it, man. I felt like, especially Chris had it, and his name was Kadence.
Oh yeah,
his rapper name was Kadence.
Good name too.
Yeah, it's good and a cool motherfucker. It's like I think they had all the parts, but it's consistency and it's work and it's fucking relationships and it's all this shit and kids and Central Valley and that's all you do is
screw each other over.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Well, yeah, I didn't know Chris too well. I knew him, obviously. Everyone knows everyone, but like I remember playing poker at their house, like fucking way too early in the morning before work. But like, yeah, dude, like I just remember thinking like, this guy's going to take it. And, is he still doing it?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. But you know what?
Chris, get on it, bro.
You know what? I still have all the CDs, man. All the CDs that I had, and I have them in a little storage box with all my fucking high school letters. Don't tell my wife.
Dude, wait, what high school letters?
They're just letters from like girls.
Love
and shit.
letters.
Like, yeah, dude. Gotta keep that shit, man.
Really? I don't know.
No?
I
don't know.
I used to hang on. I still have some stuff. I used to hang on a lot of shit from the past. And then I started learning about living in the present. And I was like, ooh, there's that saying, was it, when you live in the past, you're depressed. When you live in the future, you have anxiety. When you live in the present, you're happy. And there's a book called Power of Now. I forget the guy's name, but Power of Now, check it out. But it's about just getting yourself in the present because your mind wants to drift to the past or the future.
Right,
stress. But yeah, so I tend to like throw a lot of that shit away. But some of them you got to keep.
Well, you know what? So I keep it in a box, and it's like because in volleyball, in basketball and football, I fucking lick nuts, dude. I was bench warmer.
Wait, dude, what?
Okay.
Like kink.com?
Yes. What I meant to say was slobber on scrotums.
I'm too immature for you to say shit like that. I mean, not to say something stupid.
Well, dude,
Sure bad.
you were on the bench with me in basketball.
Oh, for sure. I got cut.
But, dude, in volleyball, for some reason, I fucking exceeded in that sport. I was really good at it.
I didn't even know.
And so,
missed that.
Dude, I got awards every single time I play, like team captain, MVP, I think 3 years in a row. And like, I have all those plaques, It's like, fuck, I cherish those fucking
I have
things,
those too. Yeah.
So I keep those in the box along with some pictures. And dude, remember the fucking mall pictures? Dude, everybody would.
Me and Kobe have them.
Linda Lopez and like,
and they write on the back.
Yeah, right on the back. Dude, I got Vanessa. I forgot her last. Dude, I got all kinds of
Swedish
pictures.
chick.
Yeah,
exchange student. I got hers. Hey.
Yeah, they would always write in the back, dude.
Dude, it was like baseball cards for young boys. Like I was like, oh, I got Amanda. Damn, I got Michelle. Like,
dude,
hey, if you guys are listening, like, all respect, but like, it was like made, dude. If you were like a pretty girl in high school and so nervous to, she gave me a picture. I don't know. Am I that cool? And then you get a picture, or they write in your yearbook. You made our fucking week. Not even day, our week.
Definitely.
At least mine.
Especially when there's like, oh, you made me laugh, or some fucking dumbass shit like that, like. Oh, you made me smile all the time. It's like, yeah, bitch, I did.
You want to know how? I think you were a little more comfortable with the ladies in high school. I was not. I was also into partying. That I was like, fuck a girlfriend. I'm partying my life off. I don't know if that was an option. It was harder for a white boy back then, Nick. You don't understand. But it asked you to dance. You're like, I don't know how to dance this. But yeah, I remember I fucking blinked. I was on it. I thought about the Mexican dancing. It took me. I got nervous. So like I wasn't that like as comfortable with women as you, but I thought it was slick. I was like, I'm gonna be funny because I think I'm funny. Like I still do. But I would write in their
yearbook. You are funny, Jay.
I'd write in that yearbook like, hey, because I don't know what to fucking write.
Right.
I've had like one conversation with them. Hey, will you marry me, Jay?
Heart.
I think one girl called me out like, that's stupid.
Oh my goodness, dude. This is how much of a dumbass I was. I had very little parental supervision, by the way. So all you viewers that are viewing, dude, my slogan for yearbooks was "Have fun in the sun, get laid in the shade." I wrote that in everybody's fucking yearbook.
Shit.
The same shit in everybody's yearbook.
It's not even personal.
Right, exactly.
Just a generic Hallmark card.
But you know what? I do have a couple yearbooks, and it is cool, man, to reflect back and see those notes and all kinds of shit in there. It's cool, man. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know where my shit is. Like all I know I kept it, but my mom and me lived in our aunts and fucking had a divorce and transfer the shit here and there, and slowly it like loses, like you just lose shit. And I hope it's somewhere in Lindsay. I have no idea. I know. Did you ever go to my house in high school?
Yeah.
Do you remember my room? The door had stickers all over it.
Yeah, right.
That door I have somewhere, and I hope someone didn't throw it away.
Are you serious?
It should be somewhere in a C train or some storage unit.
That's random as fuck.
I want that shit. I want to put it. Like I need to go track that down.
Dude, you better go get that. We should go.
It's got all my football Cardinal stickers with the scuff marks.
That would make an awesome Instagram story, Jay.
Dude, I fucking still love stickers. I have a shitload of stickers. I almost just plastered on this table. I'm like, nigga probably get pissed. Like it looks trashy. I'm like, fuck it.
Do it,
my
man.
table.
Fuck
But like,
it.
I love stickers to this day, man.
Dude, I love stickers too, actually. Yeah, that's fucking dope, Jay. Dude, I remember, I wasn't there when it happened, but I remember being at your house and you were showing me like, yo, this is where I was standing when my brother threw a dart at me. And fucking stuck in your back or something like that.
In my shoulder, bro. Me and my brother hit puberty really early, and I hit puberty really late. And we had a 2-year difference. And he was old for his grade, and I was young for my grade. So all his friends would come. It was a fucking like men with a little kid. But I was a savage. Like, I don't give a fuck. And like, I would just take the beating, you know. Like, I'd talk some shit and just like, all right, I get my beating. This is gonna suck. But me and John were talking shit, and I had a dartboard, and I don't know. I think I threw it at him, but I threw it like in a circle, you know.
Okay.
And it kind of hit him, but like the back of it hit it, and he just took it up. And who knew my brother was a professional dart player? I see him, he goes, ah, and he throws it just straight like you throw a dart. And I see it spiraling, and I go, ah, and I turn to run, and it goes, doo. And, dude, to be honest, it didn't hurt, but it stuck in there.
It scared you.
But I just went, oh, and I fell on the ground. And then like after like 2 minutes, I just like pulled out. I was like, and put a Band-Aid on it, went to school.
I remember the scar. I remember you showed me. You were like, yo, this is
I'm a
stuck.
badass, bro.
Oh, dude, that shit was fucking
It didn't even hurt, but it was like, just to see a dart sticking you, like, what the fuck?
Dude, you know what's fun? I don't know. Maybe you mentioned this last time, but I remember this, dude. There was like, you had a hallway that led into the living room. So if you walk down the hallway,
that was
you
a
can
badass
see
house.
That was a badass house. And there was like a railing.
They went bankrupt
Maybe
over
you
it.
did mention this last time because it brought up a memory, and I remember being at your house and watching some stuff we shouldn't be watching.
Oh, the porn with the black box.
Yeah,
We would
right.
through. Yeah,
Exactly.
I did talk about it.
Yep, you did, right.
But let's talk. I think that was one of the first episodes.
Of porn?
No, I wasn't that old, but one of the first episodes we did, I think like episode 1 or 2.
Oh, okay, yeah, it probably was.
Probably we were talking with Craig with it, because Craig would come over. All the white boys in junior high hung out because we were scared as fuck, and you guys would all pick on us. You not so much Nick, but like, man, there's like Brown Pride Familia, Norteños and Salteños, and for some little white boys, we don't know what the fuck. So like, I didn't hang out with a lot of, like, we kind of knew each other growing up, but like in junior high, I was like, hey, we got to join a tribe. We got to defend ourselves here. I'm getting beat up in every class, but yeah, we would watch porn on the legal black box, and my parents are down the hallway, and we're down in it was weird. The dining room kind of sunk down.
Right.
And we would look through these banisters. Like, one guy had a watch, or the other guy's just, dude, I don't know about them, but I didn't even masturbate back then. I just watched them like, cool, I got a boner.
Right, dude, totally.
But someone would go to my bathroom all the time, and when I got older, I figured it out. They'd be like, I drank so much soda today. Man, he's in the bathroom a lot. I didn't even know, man.
That's fucking
I was so
funny.
like junior high or some shit.
Interesting, dude.
Dude.
You know what? I don't even know when the fucking first time I masturbated was.
I know what mine was.
Yeah?
Great story. So
Here we go.
I had a stepbrother at the time. He lived out of state. Not out of state. He lived like in Barstow, which is like the desert of California. And he would come. He was older. He wouldn't come, but, you know, he would come over. And he was about my brother's age. And they would pick on me all the time. And, you know, fucking beat the shit out of me and whatever, talk shit to me. And I used to get so butthurt. But not literally, but, you know. But anyways. I gotta throw that out there.
This is getting weird.
But see, I make the jokes on me too. Can't help it. I'm immature. What can I say? Drinking tequila. But so anyways, yeah, Colby is my cousin, and his mom's kind of like my second mom. Like, they helped me out so much growing up, because, you know, our families had some troubles. Like, they'd be up and down, and that house was great, but they couldn't afford it, so they went bankrupt. And so around the corner, they moved into this new house, and like some old guy lived there or whatever. So we went, and they're cleaning. We're helping clean as little kids, and I saw this little, like, one of us saw this little like storage shed, and we went in, and there was like this guy, the guy that owned the house before died or something, had a Playboy subscription for like fucking 40 years or some shit, like Marilyn Monroe, like shit that was probably worth money today.
Should have kept it.
So we fucking like, oh fuck, and Colby's mom was super religious, and like she wasn't gonna have it, so we like stuck it down our pants and run to my house, because my house you could get away with stuff a little easier.
Nice.
So we would
Hi, Shelly.
yeah, we would stash it at my house and run back, get some more in our pants and tie our belts, and we got a whole collection. And then like a few weeks later, you know, I just looked at them. I don't know what I was doing, and like, and then I remember when we were divvying them out, they like, I think we gave Colby all the black and white ones. Nice. But my stepbrother and my brother like, do you masturbate? And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, you're gay. And I'm like, what? No, where we grew up was very conservative, probably homophobic extremely back then. And I'm just like, what? I'm like a little kid, dude. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be gay, dude. You're gay. Like, if you don't masturbate, that means you're gay. Which makes no sense. But I'm like, fuck. And they're like, probably way too young to masturbate. So They fucking go away. I take the porns. I remember I set them up all night. Should I be talking about this? I set them up. This might be the Patreon. I don't know. Fuck
Hi,
it.
Gina.
Set them up all night. She don't give a fuck. But I think I told her, but I put them all up, like hung them up in the bathroom, the fold outs, and got like 4 or 5 of them. I lit some candles. I don't know. I might have. I think I did. Who knows? And then I just like remember like masturbating. I just remember being like, my stomach. It just felt like I was sick, and I thought I fucked my body up.
Thought you're gonna blow up.
I was like, well, I guess I'm not gay. Well, that's over with. I can move on with my life now.
Oh, dude, that's fucking awesome.
Those fuckers.
Dude, you know what? I think, I remember my mom was dating this guy, Rudy, actually. I don't know if you ever
Oh, yeah, I know Rudy.
Yeah, remember Rudy? Well, he, rest in peace, man. Cool dude.
What?
Yeah.
Rudy passed?
Yeah, he passed away. Fuck, man. This is 7 years ago, maybe?
What the fuck?
Yeah, man.
I like that guy.
Yeah, cool motherfucker. I liked him too. He was a dick sometimes, but he, overall, a cool fucking dude. But anyways, he had sons that were older, way older than I was. And I remember being in junior high school, and they would always come to my room because I used to smoke in my room all the time. I fucking used to smoke at a young age. Started in 4th grade, believe it or not. Fucking crazy.
Wow.
But they would come to my room and be like,
Wait, what age is 4th grade?
12?
Damn. But that was pretty
No,
normal.
11?
Right? That was kind of normal around there?
I guess. You know what? It was actually Luis Rocha. Do you remember Luis Rocha?
Yeah, I think so.
Dude, I used to go to his house, and one day his brother had an ashtray. And we took a little roach and went to his backyard and fucking smoked it. Oh my God, it's fucking crazy. I've never been the same since. But anyways, so Rudy's sons would come into my room and I'd be smoking and they'd smoke too. And they'd be like, yo, Nick, you ever hit the skins? And I'm like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? What does that even mean? He's like, yo, you never hit the skins? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so automatically they knew. And they're like, 2 Mexican dudes, and they hung around with these black dudes, Ian and I forgot the other guy's name.
And Lindsay?
And Lindsay, yeah. Well, the black guys weren't
dudes?
from Lindsay.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I think they're from Lemon Cove, and they weren't even from Lemon Cove. They were kind of, what they call it when you move into somewhere. I forgot what they call that. But anyways.
Gentrification. Reverse. I didn't even say it right.
But, so then, dude, they were like, fuck, Nick, you're a virgin? I'm like, yeah, I'm a virgin. I'm fucking, 7th grade. What the fuck you talking about, And so like, no, we got to get you some pussy, dude. So fuck, dude, they took me to this party, man. And
Wait, how old are these guys?
Oh, they were probably like 20 years old already.
Oh, shame on them.
Yeah, like 18 to 20 years old. And so they took me to this fucking party. I was 7th grade. Fucking badass bitches everywhere. People were like a typical house party, right? And obviously we went to those when we were in high school, but it was like that. But I was a fucking kid. And I didn't have sex that night, but.
You're in 5th grade or what?
No, I was in 7th grade.
Oh, that's my
first
party.
But I was a kid, And, they would tell me, what about that chick right there? Would you fuck her? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I was a fucking kid, dude, those are fucking good memories, man. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, 7th grade, my brother took me to my first party. And I was scared because everyone had especially Mexicans, they get goatees early. But like everyone just seemed like men. Like they weren't, but they were all in high school, seniors, juniors, and I'm like this little kid. Because I was young for my grade already and hit puberty late. I would look like a little baby. And they were forcing me to drink and this. And I remember just being scared because I was like, at any moment, I imagine that's what women feel like. I was like, any moment one of these crazy motherfuckers are going to grab me and like throw me in a pool or throw me over a fence or beat me up. Or they could just kidnap me if they want.
Right. Oh my goodness.
Fun times.
Good times.
You could tell all your friends, dude.
Fuck yeah. Oh, dude, good fucking times, man. And then, of course, I think, that's when I became a dog after that because these motherfuckers were all about it. They were all about that party life and having women over all the time and partying all that. And that wasn't the first time they took me. They took me all the time after that.
It's a badge of honor.
I guess
it's kind of sad.
I mean, is it?
It's exciting, but as long as I don't know, everyone's different, but at a certain age, you gotta be like, fuck, I need to do some shit.
Well, I mean, to be honest, again, I'm 35 years old now. I don't know what I would do when I was 18 or 20, but I would say that I don't think I would do that to a kid, but I don't know. I didn't have that mentality, but it was different times then, too. We were just talking about the 90s last episode, and that was the 90s, that was... It was different times, man.
It was great.
Right?
One of the funnest. So I traveled around the world at the age of 24 on a ship. It was fucking epic, 4 months, 4.5 months, 4 months or something like that. 10 countries. And it's an amazing experience. But one of the greatest year that beats that is age 17. I was a senior in Lindsay High School, the small town we're from, Hispanic town savages of just partying. And I fucking loved it. And I got adjusted at 17. I started fighting back, defending myself, and fucking shit. Half the time I was the fucking crazy one. And I fucking loved it. I just fell in love with this, like, I don't know if it's Mexican lifestyle or just Lindsay, but I fell in love with it. And 17, knowing I wasn't 18, it was always in the back of my head, like, I'll probably be a minor. So, like, everyone else is 18. Like, I'll probably be good. Let's push this. And it was the funnest year of my life.
Awesome, dude.
24 is a second.
Dude, I remember, and I don't know if it was you when you were 17 or not. Maybe you were 16. I don't know. Maybe a little younger. But, dude, I remember, man. This was, remember Lewis? He was a lineman turned running back. Big old fucker. What was
Montejano?
No, not Louis Montejano. It was a different Louis.
Oh, who is that? I don't remember.
I forgot his last, but Ben Picasso was on the team, and there's and dude, I remember,
Our
man,
freshman year?
I think it was our freshman or sophomore year, but we were playing football on the team, and dude, you went up against this fucking big guy, and I want to say it was Louis. But, dude, he fucking rocked your world, dude. And you fucking got up and, like, let's go again. Let's go again. And I remember, and, dude, the coaches were like, oh, this motherfucker's tough.
Dude,
you're a tough son of a bitch,
dude,
Jay.
well, I got to thank my brother. My brother beat the fucking shit out of me. And, you know, my stepdad was a little rough, but, like, I was small always, but I was a motherfucker. If you beat me, I would fucking think about that forever. You were like I want to fucking sneak in your house and kill you. You know, like I fucking, like, I would never give up. Like, I wouldn't you would give up before me. Your fist would get tired. Your bloody knuckles would hurt. But I was just always a savage like that, man.
Right.
My brother even says that today. You know, he's like, fuck, you just were like a little fucking guy that wouldn't give up. I was like, dude, like
Rudy,
Joe Pesci.
Rudy. Dude, totally, man. And you know what, dude? I remember Kobe walking into fucking Raji's fucking market way out on the outskirts of Lindsay and
Eighth grade.
buying fucking beer. Kobe had a big old beard. You know, it looked like a fucking cowboy.
I don't think he had a beard back then.
No?
He had maybe a little scrubs, but he definitely was tall and a little thick.
Right.
And he looked older than all of us, and he'd always buy us beer. Dude, in fucking 8th grade.
Yeah, dude,
That's
that was
insane.
crazy.
Shout out to Kobe. He just messaged me right now. We should call that dude.
Dude, remember Eric Esparza?
Yeah, of course
That
I do.
guy
That
had
guy,
the fucking beard.
that guy gave me, yeah, I know, because that guy gave me hell in junior high.
Was that right?
Me and Kobe, I'm sure they did to a lot of people, but me and Kobe got picked on in this class for being the two white guys, and him and these other guys would like put our arms down and then heat up the rulers in the middle part on the back of the rubber sole of the shoe,
Wow.
and then force it and burn it, and they would all crowd around it, and and then you had
Fucking
the stupid
dicks.
teacher who didn't know what was going on, and half the time was outside the classroom for some reason, complaining to the principal, and fuck, it sucked. And I remember like building that, like, these motherfuckers, and then all of a sudden I hit puberty, I started lifting weights, and then
Right.
senior year, Eric Esparza rolls into the weight training room. And I'm like, all right, big. I'm a crazy motherfucker at this point. I'm like, yeah. And then he couldn't bench shit and all this stuff, but he was, and you know, and I was like, let's see what's up. And he was so nice. And like,
Of
you know,
course.
I changed and and he was just a really cool guy, and it just like was fucking awesome. And all that negativity went away. And I was like, this is a cool dude.
Yeah, you know what? After high school, I fucking completely lost touch of where that guy went or where he was.
I think
Like,
he worked, him and like his sister or cousin worked at Taco Bell for a while, and we'd always go in. They were cool as fuck. He was cool as fuck, and yeah, I don't know. That guy just with years things change, and I just remember like having a grudge against that guy, and then like, oh, I like this guy. This guy's cool.
well, you know what? My dad, and it's funny too, growing up in a small town like Lindsay, your parents know their parents, right? Your parents know everybody. You tell your parents, oh yeah, I made a friend today. Oh, what's his last name? Oh, so-and-so. Oh yeah, I know his parents.
I
Like,
didn't have that so much because I think my
No?
last name was Yoder, and my dad wasn't from there.
oh, okay. Yeah.
But Kobe had that a lot.
Dude, I had that all the time, man. And
Really?
and so, Eric was one of those, and his brothers and sisters, of course. My dad hung out with their dad and partied. And the same with, like, Ruben Gonzalez, owner of China's, and
Oh, yeah,
owner
yeah.
of the Orange, what's his name?
Estrada,
Yeah,
Johnny.
Johnny Estrada, right. And so they all used to hang out, and so there's stories and stuff, but I mean, they, just like I, fucking had a rough upbringing, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it was Chicano, it was gangster, it was drug selling, it was fucking, like, real gangster, though. Like, not fucking petty northern or southerner shit. Like, real fucking
So you're saying the
cholo
older
shit.
generations time frame or our time frame?
Yeah, older generation
Oh, okay,
time frame.
okay.
Yeah, right. That was, I remember growing up watching my uncles fucking iron their fucking muscle shirts, like their wife beaters. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's how clean they were. Like their rooms were fucking impeccable. Like you could not go in their room. Everything was clean and crisp, And I learned that.
Crease the khakis.
Yeah, crease the khakis.
Middle, yeah.
Oh, dude, white socks. I mean, dude, just the cleanest motherfuckers you've ever seen, dude. It was crazy. And that was like, and now, you know, growing up, and then, of course, we grew up in the gangbangers and all these fucking little wannabe thugs and fucking all this shit. You know, people got crazy. But it always used to throw me back to, like, this ain't what it's supposed to be. Like, I grew up in what it was supposed to be. And these motherfuckers were down for their shit. And, dude, my uncle, and then I think one of my uncles is the main reason why I was such a fucking dog, too, because he'd always tell me, you gotta have at least 5 girlfriends. You know, if one breaks up with you, you still get 4 birthday gifts, you know, shit like that, right?
Damn.
And, dude, they would always tell me about shit like that, you know, like just be clean and you know.
You're always pretty like clothing was always on point.
Yeah, and I think that's where I got it from, you know. And I'm a clean person. I like to have my office clean. Like when I'm working on my desk, I like to have everything fucking cleaned off and organized before I can even start doing.
Maybe that's why you're in the detailing business, bro.
Hey, maybe. But you know what? It was. They told me something one time. I think I got busted for stealing at a store, and my mom caught me, and she told my uncles, of course, because that's what she would always do, because I didn't have a dad, right? And she would always tell my uncles, and they were like, "Don't ever steal from somebody that needs it more than you. Like if that person needs it more than you, then you don't steal it from that person. But if you know that person doesn't really need it, and you really do need it, then you know, make your move."
How do you know though? Like if they got a badass car,
I guess that, you know, and my uncle would
be honest, because they're white people.
Dude, yeah, right. Well, and you know, my uncle would always tell me like Todd's Hill was for rich people, right? You lived on Todd's Hill if you're rich. And those are all the fancy houses. Dude, my uncle said that he ran through every single one of those houses as a youngster.
Yeah.
And you know, of course, back then their securities were fucking bunk, you know.
Dude, we had like one cop car for a long time till those drive-bys started. Dude,
Right.
I try to tell people this, and you know, like, I guess it's one thing coming from you, but from a white dude, you know, especially at a part in San Francisco, people are like, what the fuck? Yeah, whatever. and I was like,
They thought you were suburban.
yeah, dude, like a lot of them do, like, just shut the fuck up, you're trying to act hard. I'm like, dude, no, like this happened. I saw one friend stab another
Believe
friend.
me, guys.
Like, it's just like whatever. Yeah, I don't want to try to argue it, but it's like, a lot of people just can't even fathom.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was thinking, you know, maybe last week or something, I was thinking about that. And although I lived a pretty fucking rough life, man. I mean,
you did.
It was fucking crazy, you know. My mom doing drugs, my father nowhere to be around. You know, all my uncles and aunts were, you know, well, not all of them. Most of them were drug dealers and smuggling drugs across borders and shit like this.
Yep.
And I think about it and it's like, dude, people had it way worse than that. God damn, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, yeah. You know, there's levels to everything. There's always someone ahead of you and someone below you.
Right.
Who's the guy at the bottom or the we know that there's probably a guy at the top, but who's the guy at the bottom? That poor fucker.
Do you know what, dude?
Some refugee.
Maybe we mentioned this on a podcast too, because I remember talking to you about it. What's the movie about those 2 little kids? Remember we were talking about it? The little black kid and a little Asian kid.
In like New York somewhere, Brooklyn?
Yeah, right. And dude, that movie, when I watched, dude, I swear to God, I cried for like 2 hours after the movie.
Because you connected.
Because I connected, and I would just constantly was thinking about it after the movie. Like, damn, like I had it bad. No, these kids had it bad. And you know, even though it was a movie, like it's like, dude, that's got to be real. Like that shit's got to be happening across the world and you know, the United States for sure. So I was like, damn, like. Yeah, I had it fucked up, but some people had it really fucked up.
You know, and there's, man, when I was in India, I went to this, it was like a crippled home.
Okay.
So like in India, if your kid's fucking deformed or some shit, they throw them on the street or drop on someone's doorstep or go to a place like this and leave them because they're not going to make no money. They're not going to bring any money into the household. So these poor kids, you know, get taken advantage of a lot, like are forced on the street to beg or who knows by a gang or something.
Sure.
But so I went to the school and we just like painted a wall and like fucking hung out with these kids. And I had all these, you know, Visalia. I was broke at the time, but I went to the dollar store and bought tons of toys. And half my luggage when I went on this trip were toys and stickers. And I don't know. My mom's a preschool teacher. And I just always like feel like kids are innocent and out of, you know, you don't there's something about me, you don't mistreat kids and old people. You fucking are a piece of shit to me.
Totally.
Like I don't give a fuck what happens to you.
Cheers to that.
Yes. But I went there and this they had lunchtime, they ring a bell, and to see the kids that legs don't work or they're handicapped crawl on the dirty floor, and these kids are filthy. Crawl on the dirty floor to get to the lunchroom.
Wow.
And just like I have a picture actually of this girl. I fucking idiot. Just took a picture. I don't know why. I probably snuck it in. I don't know. But her eyes, and she's so happy. She don't know what the fuck a wheelchair is.
Right.
You know, there's no wheelchairs in this place.
Damn.
They were not there. So there's levels to the shit. But to see her crawl across was just like, and I remember there's some like family went and they brought their little kid. Must have been 6 or 7. And to see him in shock, which I think is a great thing for a kid in America to see. Because we all like to feel sorry for ourselves. But shit. I mean, everyone needs a hand, but...
Well, that's a fucking eye-opener, man.
Like, the poor kid at our school that was handicapped had a wheelchair at least.
Right.
But can you imagine, like, no one would let a kid crawl to class, but, like, to see that and it to be normalized fucked me up. And that was just one of many things I've seen, but it sucks. And, you know, I spent 2 days there, and who knows where that girl is today.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, fuck, man. Yeah, that's tough, man. And you know what? You mentioned the last podcast or the one before that. We're spoiled motherfuckers here.
Well, we talk about white pride a lot, and you have to talk about American pride, man. There's the microscope goes in and out, and you know, not to say people aren't suffering in America, because it's sad that people actually are in this
right. Yeah, totally.
Money-filled country,
third world problems.
It's crazy, but I don't think a lot of people could fathom how low it goes sometimes.
Yeah, and you know what, man? That goes into what we need to educate ourselves on. You know, like, we should know about this shit, man. This should be in books. This should be taught so that way we have that realization. And you know what? I mean, speaking of which, I don't want to go into another topic if we're not ready to go there, because this is fucking an awesome conversation we're having. But I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast with a guy named, what the fuck was his name? I think Andrew Huberman. Huberman?
I don't know.
Well, he works on the brain. I don't know what you call that. Fucking neurologist, I guess.
A brain scientist?
Yeah, brain scientist. Yeah, let's call him that. But anyways, he was talking about, I mean, he's going into all kinds of shit about the brain, but eventually he gets to this point where it's like, okay, well, we know how the brain works. We know how to manipulate it. We know how to, you know, they're talking about left brain, right brain, conversion, diversion, all this shit, right? And he's like, yeah, now we know how the brain works. Now we need to educate the kids so that way they can grow up and the kids are the future and blah, 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 right? And automatically when I'm watching this, I'm thinking like, well, of course that's how it is. And these motherfuckers that are in power that are fucking manipulating us all the way down to an educational level, they know that too. And they've known that for a very long time. And that's why our kids are growing up in the education that they're growing up in now. Because they want them to be the way they're educated now. They educated us, you and I, the way they wanted us to be educated so that we can go into the workforce and fucking be, you know, slaves into this fucking system, right? And they know that. And so it's like, how the fuck are you barely getting this? You know, like, yeah, of course we know this.
Yeah, but I also think it's, man, when you're, I don't know, when you're in a world, you know, like of just food and big houses and fans, and every need is there, every want is there. So that's even crazier, that every want's there.
Right.
That it's, and you're not exposed to that. It's hard to even comprehend, or you might go, oh, poor guy. But anyways, I'm going to go to Starbucks, you know, and
right.
And even on the lower level, we do that. But do you know the story of Buddha?
No, not necessarily.
You know of Buddha?
Of course, yeah.
So Buddha, you know, I'm not no expert, but I know a little thing here and there. It's not really a religion. We all think it's a religion. It's a philosophy, I guess, basically. But and I met a few here and there, some in America actually, and they, you know, Buddha, his family kept him in this big palace as a young kid, and didn't expose him to anything negative. And I forget the reason why, but they kept him in this beautiful.
They're privileged.
Oh, they were like, yeah, they were like a king, or I don't know.
Okay.
They were very like a high level, fucking one of the highest levels in India at the time, and at least in that region of India, which I don't even know. But and they kept him in there, and he just lived a good life. And he got older. He had a wife and a kid, and he one day decided, I'm going to leave the walls, and then just left, and had his servant like take him out on a fucking, he was probably a little cart or something. And
sounds like Princess Jasmine.
Yeah, definitely like that status for sure.
Okay.
And he went out and he saw an old man walking, and he was like, what the fuck, to his servant? What's going on? He's like, well, we all grow old and die.
Oh shit.
And he's like, what, I'm going to grow old? He's like, everyone does. He's like, what the fuck? Because his parents just sheltered the shit out of this beautiful palace. a huge palace probably, you know. And so he was like, what the fuck? And then he goes and sees the sick man laying there just about to die. And he's like, what's this? Like, well, sometimes people get sick and da-da-da. And he just learned about poverty basically and old age and how people don't give a fuck about everybody.
Right.
And seeing them dying on the side of the road. And he was just like, what the fuck? So he snuck out of the palace one night and disappeared. Left his wife, left his kid, and went in search for what's the reason for living if you're gonna die,
right,
or get sick? What's the purpose of life then? Why even try today if that's the end goal, or the end? You know, not the end goal, but the end, just
right.
the end.
Yeah, right.
You know, END, and then he fucking went out and he just wandered, and he would meet these spirit. You know, India's very spiritual since day one. Meet these spiritual people and hang out with them, and these people, and he would spend years with them and then leave. He's like, I still don't feel like I fulfilled that thing. And then so he learned about all these different types of meditations, all these type of mantras, and eventually he just was like, fuck it, went out on his own and sat under I forget what type of tree, but sat under a tree and fucking just didn't give a fuck about food. And when he was in India, you'd die now, but in India, like, basically Buddhism is like get rid of desires. Desires create unhappiness.
Okay.
Food, whatever. And if you don't give a fuck about it, people will give you food, especially back then in India. And still to this day, people respect spiritual people in India. So they're like, you know, like you give them food if you see them, you know, and because they believe in reincarnation, all that shit.
Right, right.
But so he went out by this tree and just did nothing and calmed his mind, didn't think about anything, and got enlightenment and disappeared. When you get enlightened, apparently you disappear. But that's Buddhism. And so but before he did that, he created these rules of what he learned and established some Buddhist rules.
Okay.
And that's how the philosophy started.
You know what? Speaking of which, man, I don't meditate. Do you meditate, Jay?
I have recently, actually. I used to. I haven't. It's always like the list of things I need to, you know.
Right.
I'm gonna stop partying, you know. But
resolution.
But we. You know, let's talk about the gateway experience that the CIA released and the documents, and I sent them to you.
Yeah,
I sent them to about 4 different people. One replied, and you actually talked about it, and it's a lot about meditation and how you could leave this physical world.
Right.
And you know, it sounds like conspiracy, but CIA released it. So when the government's releasing shit, that used to mean it wasn't a conspiracy.
Well, and that's how all these conspiracies have come out, right? Is fucking 20 years later when documents are no longer classified or registered as classified, there's always one down motherfucker to pull that shit out, you know? It's like, oh, yeah, I remember this shit. It got just declassified. I'm going to pull that shit out.
Yeah.
And thankfully we have those people that go and do that, because otherwise I wouldn't fucking know where to look for that shit.
Well, by law, they have to release it every 60 years, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. But even so, I mean, release it, right? Well, release it, that just means, you know, make it public. You still have to dig for that shit. But you know what it was? It was more about, and, you know, the gateway experience seemed like.
By the way, we'll put a link in the description to the CIA document talking about this. It's fucking cool. This is not just some bullshit. Fucking the CIA released it,
and it is a hard read. It is a hard read. I think it's 41 pages, but there are pages with pictures and stuff. And I fucking read through that whole shit. And because it's interesting fucking shit, man. And you know what? A while back, and I will just say this real quick, is I have 2 kids, right? My son is now 14 years old. But in 2010, when I first started going to college, I started noticing, you know, my son was different than my daughter, right? It was something about it, like cognitive, like, you know, he's a smart kid, but he's got a big heart, right? And his heart outweighs, you know, his cognitive abilities, right? But my daughter was the opposite, right? She's a fucking asshole, but she's a smart kid, you know? And so it's like, why is that? What's going on there? And so I started doing some reading about how the brain works and the left side and the right side, and there's convergent and divergent thinkers and, you know, this and that. And so I started understanding, okay, well, you know, obviously my son is this and my daughter's this. And I started putting pieces together. It's like everyone's different, right? Well, that's when I started realizing, like, Common Core is a fucking joke, because all these kids are different, right? They all learn differently, and they should all be able to learn differently, but they don't. But that's another story. But anyways, I started getting into the brain, man. And so when you sent me that article, I was engulfed in it, man. I was like, oh shit, this is interesting shit, man. It's like 3 states of out-of-body experiences, right? And one of them is hypnotism, right? You can get hypnotized, and there's only certain people that can get hypnotized, and certain people that
I
don't
know the
really
test. It was on Joe Rogan. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
right. Yeah, I've seen that.
Have you
Actually,
tried
that
it?
was with that guy. That was with Andrew
Oh, okay,
Norman.
that was the guy. Okay.
Yeah. So you look up, and if your eyes flutter,
You look up and you shut your eyes, and if they flutter, you're easily hypnotized because you're
Right.
at a state of anxiety and kind of stress.
Yeah, right.
If they don't flutter, you're more relaxed, and it's harder to tilt it.
And you know what? It was funny because you sent me that article, and then I'm working, and then I happened to just flip open Joe Rogan podcast because I usually listen to a podcast when I'm working, and it was that one. So I started listening to it. I was like, oh,
It's the
shit.
magic of the universe.
Dude, yeah, it really is, man. And this guy's talking about exactly that shit. You know, not on that level, but exactly that shit, which is interesting because that was done in 1983. Here we are in 2020, and the guy's talking about the same shit. So I was like, you can imagine what the fucking CIA and fucking military are up to nowadays.
Yeah, and they were talking about a guy. It started off talking about a guy in 1958. And by the way, we'll also put a link of a summary. I don't know if you watched that video I sent you.
Yeah, I watched it. Mhm.
It's easier because I know
Yeah,
most
he
of you
breaks it down.
motherfuckers ain't going to read it. But and it's a hard fucking read.
It's a hard
but-
read.
But this guy summarized it. He did all the hard work for you, and he breaks it down very easily to consume.
Right, he does.
Yeah, and I was trying to explain to my girlfriend, and I was like, fuck it. And there's got to be someone better than me to explain this. And I found this guy. I was like, okay, he talks a little better and explains it better. But 1958, this guy just was having these random out-of-body experiences where nothing was physical, time stopped, and if you learn about Einstein and space and time, and it goes beyond that, and because you're not in this physical world, and man, then they go into like the 70s, 80s when they did a report on it, and they sent an agent out there to report on it, and he wrote this document.
Right.
Because I read the original document first, and when they're just talking about it.
Okay, with like the scientists.
When the
that actually did
foundation
it.
started.
Yeah.
And then I read the real good shit where he wrote the report about it.
Right.
But shit, what do they know now? Fuck.
I know. You can only imagine, man. And you know what? That whole fucking.
What's the other two, by the way?
So there was hypnotism, there was meditation. So they're saying, with like monks and stuff, like they meditate so often and so frequent,
Like Buddha.
that they would create this out-of-body experience, because you can't just like, oh, I'm going to meditate today and get an out-of-body experience. It's like constant, frequently doing it to where you can specialize in that out-of-body experience.
Yeah, and to break down the meditation, what they think is happening is that there's a frequency of the world, basically. It's about like
Waves.
7.5 hertz, or there's like a range, but I think 7 is like the peak. And I forget when I was reading that document, I'm Googling tons of shit I don't understand.
Right.
But it's the atmosphere till about, 60,000 kilometers or something up in the sky. And there's a certain name for it, but this frequency runs through this from the earth. And when you meditate, sometimes you could get on the same frequency as the earth.
Right.
And this is when you possibly have these out-of-body experiences. And so what happens is when you slow your breathing, it actually starts from the heart. And it goes up and down the spinal cord. So you hear about chakras, and you're like, what the fuck?
Right.
But this is more scientific they're talking about here. But same shit. But you're sending these vibrations up the spine into the brain. And then you're also sending it down, and then it spreads to the legs.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the spine ends, but some of it reflects back up. And so when they hit, it creates a certain vibration, and then it affects the liquid around between the skull and the brain that the brain's held in.
Right.
And then that creates, so the brain is having this vibration, and also the heart, which is meditation on the extreme level. And then when that happens, you're able to reach this different non-physical world.
Yeah, right.
Where time doesn't exist. It reminds me a lot of DMT. When I was reading that, I was like, this is fucking DMT almost.
That's exactly what I was thinking too.
Talking to things.
Yeah, right. I thought about that because they also talk about like 3D and other dimensions, and they're talking about lines and grids and
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is. When you get in rhythm, and there's even these tapes they call it. And even when I'm like hearing about the tapes that they're talking about, I'm like, what is that? Is that like fucking some rock music or whatever it is? I don't even know. They never talked about exactly what music it was, but that it would elongate your ability to stay in this state of consciousness, right? And it's fucking crazy, man. And this shit's real. I mean, this is.
CIA released it, and if you look into Buddhism, and especially way back in the day, Europeans that visited the Himalayas, and they describe this. I've seen this happen.
Right.
Now, you don't know what's real or not back then because it's just writings, but they're like, there's like the rainbow thing. It goes around a person. They have this body they dug up, and the body hasn't really aged much, and he's been dead forever. This famous monk, and there's a lot of cases like this: levitation, multiplying themselves, moving rocks you know, and you have these Western people documenting like, fuck, there's like, you know, there's fucking, they're moving rocks, boulders.
Magic.
Yeah.
But no, man, these motherfuckers know, and they've known since the dawn of time how to do this shit. I mean, Chinese, you hear about old Chinese stories and time traveling and 100 and 200-year-old emperors and shit like that. It's like,
and I'm not even going to press the fucking conspiracy button because this is CIA documents and it sounds fucking crazy, but it's 2020. Like, shit's getting crazy all the time.
Nothing's crazy
each
anymore.
month. But it's fucking cool because it talks about if you could get comfortable enough to reach this higher level, you meet your higher self.
Right.
Which, so you communicate with these beings that share a lot of love and lessons that you kind of don't understand. And there's people that quit drinking, quit smoking, quit tobacco, quit their left their marriages, their bad marriages, and quit their jobs, and they realize like, holy fuck, this is not what I'm supposed to do with my life.
And you know what? That's what made me think about your experience in DMT because they talk about answering the questions that you so desire to know, right? You go into this with questions. And I think this is, and you know what, coincidentally, going back to Edward Snowden, but in that book, I'm pretty sure, I don't remember, but I want to say that.
They said pretty sure because I say that all the time.
I remember reading about Edward Snowden talking about a program that certain people had to go through to work for these certain government agencies, right? Because they wanted you to be in a certain state of mind because obviously you have so much fucking secret information that they want your mind to be in a proper state of mind. And he said he went to these fucking shitty ass fucking hotels, rundown hotels, and it was all about the training the brain and training the mind. And it reminds me of, I want to say he said Gateway, but I could be wrong.
Well, he probably was familiar with it if he had that access.
Yeah, probably.
But they also had The Men Who Stare at Goats. George Clooney did a movie. That was a real program. They had the Russians were doing it. There's all kinds of weird shit going on.
Yeah, right. And you know what? It also made me think of MK Ultra.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, MK Ultra, and you know we talked about Tom O'Neill and his research into Charles Manson as
LSD.
possibly being the one of the first MK Ultra, whatever you want to client, fucking guinea pig or whatever. But dude, just crazy, bro. And the fact that is real, like people know this shit, and so you think like I always think about this shit too. Like you hear all these rappers and famous celebrities talking about like weird ass shit, you know, and it's like, are they a part of this shit? Like, that do they know something that we don't know about out of body experience and experiencing different dimensions? Because they're also talking about time traveling and you know all kinds of crazy.
You
shit.
can see yourself in the past and future.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
So it makes you wonder if you could alter your past to be better ahead of the game. But Kevin Hart always comes to mind because he talked. I don't know if he said. I think he said white people or just the rich people, but he said, "Damn, there's levels. Like I got famous. I thought I knew some shit, but then I got really because he's fucking famous.
Yeah, right.
He's like, I got really famous, and there's doors they open to you, and he's like, I'm a black man. They open the doors for me. So you reach a peak, and they open the doors for you.
Interesting.
And I always wonder what the like. Tell me more, motherfucker.
Right.
But I don't know. But shit, maybe it was just Epstein's Island. I don't know. Just kidding, Kevin. But I like Kevin Hart. But you know, the third thing is what this document's basically about, which is basically using sound frequencies. And so basically your left brain is the computer. It's binary. It's ones and zeros like a computer. And it tells.
Need some of this, Jay.
Oh, yeah, you do. Me too. But it's talking about. Oh, thanks.
No more ice?
It melted. Tequila. Too. Come on.
Jay, fucking
Jesus,
animal.
Nick. What am I? Junior higher? Okay, that's good.
Whoa.
He's like, all right, bitch, you want to talk
Give it
shit?
to you.
But so the left side of the brain tells, and the guy that explains in this video we're going to link below, is the picture of the left side of the brain as the adult, and the right side of the brain is the kid. And the left side of the brain takes something in and tells the right side of the brain, hey, this is what this is. This is a human next to me, Nick. This is a table. This is a category it fits in. Now run with it. And the kid just believes it, the right side of the brain.
Right.
So with these frequencies and with these mantras and all of it, what they do is they set a frequency, and you have to have headphones because if you're hearing it from a computer or stereo, it's just one, but you need it in each ear.
Right.
And you get the frequency in the left and the right, and you balance both brains, but you're basically telling the left brain to shut the fuck up and let the right side of the brain, the kid, take it at face value. And that's when they have these meetings with beings. That's when they're out-of-body experiences. They're fucking in the galaxy. I don't know. But, yeah, we got to do this. But, cigar one hand, blunt in the other. But
Tequila and Stella Artois.
So that was the third study that mainly the CIA document is about. They reference these other two, and talk about that the physical is basically a type of hologram.
Yeah. Which is the Matrix?
Oh yeah, it's the same shit,
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially that, I think.
And you always hear about the emerald tablets. Have you heard about the emerald tablets?
I think I've heard reference to that.
So you hear about the emerald tablets. It goes back in history, been mentioned, but it's basically that every living thing has left a mark on this that surrounds the galaxy, whether it's stars or what, I don't know. But you could access that, and it's all the world's knowledge is available to you, and anyone could access it if they know how, apparently.
Right.
You could be a poor kid, a rich guy, it doesn't matter. But you get this knowledge. Now, the funny thing is you hear multiple people in history talk about this thing, but they always are separate. They talk about it differently. And one is Nikola Tesla talked about 369. And if you understand, he has a famous quote, if you understand the power of the numbers 369, you understand the universe. But more importantly, he always talked about the ether. And the ether was where it was this electricity, free electricity everywhere. God has provided it for us, or whoever, the universe has provided for us. But that you could get this sacred knowledge. You get all the living things knowledge, everything that existed is knowledge. And this is talking about the same shit, that you could access this knowledge of these beings that will give you very positive, good advice.
Right,
it's
good
not
energy.
like take over the fucking world
Yeah,
and start a business. It's this like loving, like, and you know, a lot of people that do DMT experience this, and you realize like we're all connected, and there's something beautiful about that. Like Nick is me, I am Nick. I am you, you are me, and we act like we're so separate, but in the eyes of the living thing. But man, you just got to check out this doc. It goes into the waves of the brain that are exactly the same as the universe, as egg shape, and how there's an endpoint.
Yeah,
and we're basically, it said, coming out to the white, or we're coming out to one of the edges. And it makes sense with, I don't know, with all the crazy
Like we're at
shit.
the tip of the egg or some shit like that.
Yeah, and if you look at how the things work, the graphics they have on there, the drawings, and the movement of the arrows, and we're supposed to be at this point where we're coming out. We're coming out of something. And so you wonder about what's going on in 2020, like...
Yeah,
I don't
no lie.
know.
And you know what, man? I read this book, and this is 2015 maybe. It's called The Future of the Mind. It's by a physicist named Michel Kaku. Have you ever heard of this guy? So he's out of New York, and he wrote this book. He's an astrophysicist.
His name's Michelle?
Michio.
Oh, Michio.
Michio.
That was a chick.
Yeah. He's like an Asian dude. And, dude, he does this kind of in-depth research into the future of what the brain can be. And, dude, this is a New York best time seller. This is a badass fucking book, man. And you guys check it out. I'll put the link down below. And anyways, he talks about visiting different laboratories across the country, and maybe it's around the world. I'm not sure, but I know across the country for sure. And just going and talking to different scientists and talking about what they're doing and why they're doing it and what's the future look like in their area of study, right? And, dude, one of the biggest fucking things I took away from that was memory implants. Right, so they can take a mouse, run it through a maze, right, and then take the memory of that maze out of that mouse, and because the maze would take a mouse, 5 minutes or whatever to get through, and then they would take that memory, put it in a different mouse who's never been through that maze, and he would get there like in a second. He would go straight to the cheese, and it's like, that's fucking crazy. Like, they can just implant memories into your brain.
Well, and that's, I don't know if it's kind of similar, but like that document kind of talked about it, and something I've heard about in like within 5-6 years on Joe Rogan podcast.
Neuralink.
Well, no, more so that like if we invent the phone over here, more than likely some guy on the other side of the world has the idea to invent the phone. And so the document explains in that like atoms split or atoms just hit each other, whatever.
Right.
But when they go off, when one rotates, the other one still rotates, even though there's distance between them. And if you don't have time and space, there's really no distance. And that's what this document's kind of talking about. It talks about, like things don't, distance is time. You travel somewhere, there's time. And the Buddha even talked about this. That's why you just sit there and there's nowhere to go. There's no time frame. Time doesn't exist, and you leave this physical body. But
time is change or some shit like that. There's
a study on monkeys, and in the documentary on the video, they took these monkeys off the mainland, put them on this island close to the mainland, and they taught them how to use tools to fish, I believe. And they eventually got it. It took a while, but the monkeys eventually got it. And almost overnight, the monkeys on the mainland started using tools to fish. So there's some, and they're saying there's some type of, whether you have another Jay on the other side of the world, another Nick, or we're all connected. Who knows? But that study has been done over and over with technology, with animals, with humans, and it happens inside our body. You know, with it happens in anything with atoms. They split, one goes right, the other one goes right for some reason.
Well, they talk about energy, right? And that's that energy, man.
Yeah.
It's constantly flowing through us, and that's, you know what else? Of course, I'm thinking like, well, what about our bones and our skin? You know, like that's kind of weird. Like I'm thinking they're talking more of our consciousness, but it's like energy, right? You get that same frequency as the world, and now you are the world. Now you're in these dimensions. Now you have this energy, and dude, I'm all about energy. I don't really get it, because this is pretty fucking intense shit. I mean,
it's not something you just read. You got to think about and dwell on it.
You totally do.
Probably meditate. Like, I don't know. I've been.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
But you know what? I always felt like you can walk into a room full of people and kind of get a hunch as to who you're going to get along with, right? Like something about energy, right? It's like, you can feel it. It's present all the time.
When I used to work at Starbucks in Visalia, there was this girl, Yosette. I have no idea what happened to her, but crazy girl. She's into
interesting
raves.
Names.
Yeah, Cuban chick, and she we became buddy, but she would always go with these fucking. I don't know. I was not down with that crowd, but it was like this raver party, like hippie crowd. I was like, fuck you. I'm working and going to school, but maybe they're right. But she always talked about these vibes and energy, but she was on all kinds of drugs and I'm like, yeah, whatever, yo-yo. But her nickname was Yo-Yo. But she, I remember as I got older and learned about this stuff, I was like, damn, she was more right than I give her credit for, I think. I don't know if she was exactly right, but she was on the right track.
Well, and it sounds like that's, like, again, going back to reading that document and then thinking about the DMT experience and your story and the other stories I've heard, it's basically what it reminded me of, right? It's like, sounds like they're doing some drugs and they're fucking out of body experience and they're experiencing the dimension and they're seeing these beings.
They're sober.
But they are, so exactly, right.
Yeah, so it's, I don't know. I sent it to a couple of people I know that's done DMT because I was thinking about that the whole time. But it even talked about like when you have a light bulb and a lamp, the energy is just wasteful.
Way to break it down.
Cheers, man. The energy is wasteful. I'm gonna be fucked up by the end of this. Woo! I need some ice. But the energy is very wasteful in a lamp. It's just going everywhere,
right.
But a laser is energy all focused on the same frequency.
Same amount of energy, though. That's what they're saying. It's the same amount of energy, but it's focused.
It's focused. So that's a laser, right?
Yeah,
it's focusing
laser, right.
light or energy. I don't know. I'm not. I shouldn't be talking about this, but actually, we should all be talking about this. God damn it! Fuck Trump and Biden. Why are we talking about this? But so you focus this energy, and when you do some of these frequencies in this lab, some people were able to do this frequency, and they like measured the travel of it, and I think it was right under the circumference of the Earth. It was almost the circumference of the Earth or something like that. So you could power this energy and either shoot it to someone else who's doing the same thing, which apparently, obviously, more people are not doing it. But it's fucking insane. And to think that like Tesla was talking about this ether where he got this knowledge. There's some crazy shit about Tesla and like.
I need to read into Tesla.
You go deep on Tesla.
Well, and you know what? Even with Elon, like with the Neuralink, and he knows something that, about this. I mean, this is probably where, it stemmed from. But, the research, he knows what's going on, man. And you know what? After I read this book from Michio Kaku, you don't think so?
I think he's aware, but I don't think he knows yet.
No, for sure. But
he still gives Edison more credit than Tesla, which is weird because this company is called Tesla. He has a quote about it. That's the business aspect of Edison.
But you know what? The Michio Kaku, he talks about that distribution of light, right? And that focus of light. And he even says that eventually, like, have you ever seen the movie Chappie? I think I might have mentioned this. It's like,
I've seen the pieces of it. Is that the robot, right?
Yeah, he's a robot. And basically he takes, he's able to take your consciousness from your mind and put it on a computer program. So that way he can put that into a robotic body. So that basically you live forever, right? And so Michio Kaku says this is actually going to happen. And now, we want to go to Mars and it's like a fucking 8-month trip or whatever, however long it is. He's saying that we can put our mind or our consciousness on a laser beam and shoot it to Mars and be there like in 20 minutes. And, you know, we have, what are they called, subjugates or whatever, like another avatar body there. And it's like, now you're on Mars because it's your consciousness that's there. And then, dude, so after I read this book, this was 2015, I think, Mark Zuckerberg bought Oculus for like $3.2 billion or something like that.
Famous designer I like a lot. He works for Oculus now.
Oh, really? That was a Bay Area company, right?
I believe so.
Dude, I was like...
Oculus Rift, I think it's...
I was already like, why would... You know, and Mark Zuckerberg had just talked about like, you know, soon we'll be able to like, you'll be able to walk down the beach with your girlfriend holding hands and actually feel like you're there and not even be there, you know? And then he bought Oculus and it's like, damn, shit's about to get real.
Well, I don't know if he bought it for that reason, but I think tech guys, when you learn about computers, you understand how the brain works. You understand how certain things that computers do, we have as well. Like even the left side of the brain
Like
is
networks
binary,
and stuff,
you know.
right.
So that's how computers work. Ones and zeros is all computers basically. But and actually Jordan Peterson, I saw a recent conversation he had, which I don't think he's very techie, but Jordan Peterson was talking about like, if you're smart, get into computers. Because if you're smart and you're into computers, you're way ahead of the smart guy. If you're just smart, like get into computers, like learn to code and all that shit. But he knew like the power of it. And I think he said every 18 months it doubles in power and speed. Wow. Every 18 months. So like if you think about a few hundred years ago, we just finally got a plane. Now there's a new iPhone every fucking what? You know, and it's a train moving faster and faster and faster and faster. So the 80s to the 90s, the 90s to the 2000s,
It's going quick.
way different. The 2000 to 2010, way different. 2010 to 2020, it's fucking insane. It's almost scary.
Remember the cell phone we had in high school?
I didn't have a cell phone.
Rubber
Well,
antenna.
I had a little one for a little while, but I used the payphone a lot in high school.
Yeah, payphone.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, you're totally right, man. We're fucking going so fucking fast, man. You know what? I was also listening to a JRE. Well, fuck. Why do I say that? Why do I keep saying that?
JRE?
Yeah,
Joe Rogan Experience.
Well, I think it's because I've been Googling a lot of shit.
Oh, okay.
But it's Joe Rogan. But he had Bradley Garrett. Did you watch that one?
You have to remind me. I don't even look at their
So
names.
he's doing research and producing a lot of content about preppers, doomsday preppers.
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude, that's a good one.
I don't watch a lot of Joe Rogans anymore. I every once in a while I watch the clips, but I've been listening too long, man. It's hard to hear him. I like get a little. I hate to say it. I get a little bored. I like Joe Rogan a lot, and I hope it goes on forever. And I listen to a lot of them, but I am picky now. I used to listen to every single one, but focus more on like Brothers in Cursive and Tiger Belly and Bad Friends comedy podcasts.
Well, you just gave me a couple that I need to check out.
Oh yeah, the archaeologist guy who like goes under cities, but. What point were you making? Sorry, I interrupted you.
I don't even remember. Oh, just peppers. And that's an interesting fucking lifestyle, man. And they were talking about, like, the stereotypes of preppers, right? You think of a prepper like bunker, you know, storage and Jim Baker and fucking, you know, all this crazy shit. And it's like, no, they're actually pretty fucking rational people. Like, you know, this guy's talking about, like, you know, I don't know, man. The way he breaks it down was like, they're actually preparing. I mean, most of them are fucking crazy, and that's what he says. But he's like, some of them fucking, you know, he moved out to the wilderness after that shit because he's like, they convinced me. Like, you know, fuck, we're fucking.
Dude, since Corona's happened, I've been thinking a lot about. We need to move out. I tell my girlfriend, she's a city girl. I'm San Francisco and shit like that, Daly City, and I'm like, we need to move out in the country. We need to have our own water, our own meat, our own, like, if we have to get animals, we'll get animals. We'll learn. There's plenty of, the internet's out there, we can learn. We need to have our own fruit and vegetables. We need, do you know who Ronda Rousey is? So Ronda Rousey, UFC fighter, then WWE superstar. But her and her husband, who's also an ex-UFC fighter, Tim Brown, I believe so, yeah. Man, years have gone by.
That's a Oakland Raiders wide receiver, Jay.
Oh, yeah, the original. But I think his name's Tim Brown. He's, I think, from Hawaii. But great fighter. But, man, he used to be the new guy, and I'm thinking he's the old guy now. Fuck, I've been watching UFC too long. But anyways, they moved outside somewhere of L.A., and it's out in the middle of nowhere. And I remember when COVID happened, she would post, like, Snapchats and videos of, like, oh, worried about meat? Here's my meat. And she'd open all these fridges of these cows they raised or killed. And then she'd be like, you need vegetables? Here are all my vegetables. You need water? Here's my water tank storage. And I'm like, and then she's like, you need weapons? Here's my guns. And I'm like, this bitch is fucking set. And it's a lot of work. And it's cool that they're rich and they're still doing it.
Sure.
Like, they're doing it themselves, you could tell. Like, they're always fucking dirty, posting videos of them working. But
you take pride in that shit, man.
It since COVID hit, I was like, I don't know if I could sleep good at night until I know I'm self-efficient. And they make it hard to be self-efficient around here.
Dude, and you know what, man? You talked about Googling stuff, right? What if we didn't have that opportunity, right? What if we're fucking trying to do something, and next thing you know, like Egypt 2012, they shut off the internet. Nobody has access to internet.
Oh, during the fucking riots and shit?
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I was living in Europe in 2010, 2011, and we were planning, me and my girlfriend at the time, were planning a trip to Egypt to see the pyramids, which, of course, I've always wanted to see. And I've been everywhere in the world, but the Middle East has been out of pocket because of the wars and stuff, but it's always been high on my list.
Right.
Jerusalem has always been the number one just because I'm into religions, different religions coexisting and fighting and whatever and how they exist. And if you want to go to Jerusalem, that's where all the fucking three powerful religions exist, the starting points. But except for Mecca and Saudi Arabia. But generally, they all have shared religious sites. But we were going to go, and then the riots and the Arab Spring, if you remember, started, and we had to cancel our trip. But fuck, man, I'm dying to get out there and yeah, I don't know what point were you making on
What?
tequila?
I don't. You fucking yeah.
I hijacked it with nowhere to go. Let's hit the Twin Towers.
You went down Buzz Lane and ended up at a dead end.
Hey, man, I'm on my second glass of tequila.
Dude, that one shot fucking got me.
Yeah, I've had, I don't know how many shots I've had.
That's at least 4 or 5 shots.
What was the first one? 3, maybe 2, 3?
Oh, dude, no, that's at least like 6 shots.
Let's get crazy. We're talking
beast,
about
Jay.
shit. But yeah, I haven't drank. I haven't drank and smoked.
Well,
in a
let me
long
see
time.
what I got here, Jay. You know what?
No, wait. Can I stop you?
Yes.
I have 2 points.
Make them.
Okay. 1, The Alchemist. I'm reading the book called The Alchemist. Have you read that?
That sounds familiar. What is that about?
By a Brazilian artist or Brazilian writer.
Is that a movie?
I don't know. I was wondering when I was reading. I was like, "This is like an amazing movie." I was gonna you up. Let's make a movie. Low budget Alchemist. But basically, it's about started off as a kid. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm almost done. But I read a huge chunk last night with a fucking moon out, fucking smoking a cigar.
Nice.
But it was it's this little kid. He starts off. He's a shepherd, and not to go into too much detail here because I'll lose my train of thought with the substances in my brain. But he gives it up to go for his dream. He meets an old man, an old king in the city. He's just a shepherd. He meets this girl. He wants to settle down with her. He's a young boy. And he's proud to be a shepherd. He's got this ego, right? And this king's like, but he always has these visions and dreams of the treasure in the pyramids or around the pyramids. And
Now you're talking about Aladdin.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of Aladdin. I was like, I got to rewatch Aladdin, but like they snuck some shit in there. I gotta rewatch as an adult. But it's so it's like I don't know what time frame it is. It's like way back in the day, but he ends up traveling over to Africa, and he's getting robbed, and then he has to work at a fucking crystal shop for a while, and it seems like his dream just keeps getting postponed. But he meets like 3 individuals. One is an old king at the beginning. In the middle, he meets an Englishman who's searching for the alchemist, and the alchemist is someone who turns lead into gold. Okay. And if you ever look into alchemy, it's insane and something I want to learn more about. It's high on my list. But their job was to turn metals into gold for kings and whatever back in the day. But they left these books, like this is historical. They left these books that have these weird drawings, and they had to hide their secrets within these books, kind of like the Freemasons and shit, with pictures, symbolism, art, and fucking words that you kind of don't understand. But if you know it, you know it.
Okay, yeah.
So they hid it because everyone wanted to know that. So this kid, it kind of bases off that. He goes into the middle of the desert. He meets another guy who's the alchemist. Finally meets the alchemist, and it's all about omens and living your life pursuit. And it talks about being and I'll go to my second subject here. It talks about when we're kids, we know what we're supposed to do with our life. But when we become an adult, we lose train of thought. We get a job, we settle, we marry, we whatever. And it makes me think a lot about my life. And
Interesting.
And it goes into just following these omens and having to face fear and courage and putting your life at risk. But the ultimate goal is if you do that, the universe will recognize it and give you signs to lead you there. Now, I haven't got to the ending, but I'm fucking hooked. But anyways, going back to when you're speaking about your daughter and your son. By the way, Nick raised his daughter and son proper because I've only met, I know I don't go to many kids' parties. I was always the one that avoided that shit because I just was getting fucked up and didn't feel comfortable. But, when I met Gina's nephews, she has 2 nephews, and they walked up, "Hi, Jay, nice to meet you." And the little kids, and like little gentlemen, like little men. Okay. Hi. And I had the same experience with your kids, like, "Hey, how are you?" Hey, and your son gives me like cool handshake. Right. And, "What's up, Jordan?" Like, and Jordan's super friendly. But there's something about Claire that me and Gina have both recognized. And I don't even know why. We can't, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, and Gina says, "I love Claire." I go, "Me too." Like, I don't know what it is about her, but like, you feel that her mind's on a different level for her age or something. Right. And I mean, we walked in once, she had books all over, and there's no reason we should feel this way, but we feel this way. And it's funny you say that because it's like, and I remember you mentioned that, but it's reading this book and thinking about her being a kid. I'm like, when I'm done with this, I'm giving it to Nick for Claire. Like, or Jordan or whoever, but like I think, like, I don't know what's going on with this book. I don't know what there is, but there's something in here that that brings energy, something out of you. Yeah.
Energy. You know what, man? It's, she is here. You know what? And I try to do what I can with her as far as exposing her to the things that I'm exposed to, right? I don't shelter my kids from anything. They know exactly what I know. Not everything, of course, but they have questions. I'm answering them to the best of my abilities, regardless of what the
So you treat them like an adult.
I treat, to a certain extent, right? Okay. But oh man, you know what? This this is my busy season during business, right? And I've talked to my wife about this, and we actually they just got new iPhones. I just bought them both new iPhones, and mostly because I'm trying to get them back on a calendar system, right? Because I walk into my daughter's room and she's like on her phone, watching this screen on TV, and it's like hours a day, right? And it's like, am I wasting potential here, right? Because she's in her youth, and this is, again, like you just said, this is a very fucking important part of their life, because I think you're right, man. When we get, as adults, we lose all that shit, right? Who are we? What are we doing in this world? Oh, forget that. I just got to make money and pay these bills, right? Dude, when I had the kids on the podcast, it was amazing. Actually, when I had my radio show. Oh, okay. Like, they would just...
I didn't know that. You had them on?
Yeah. I had my daughter and my son. They both brought a friend. So
how old are they?
There was 4 kids. 2nd grade and 3rd grade.
So that's what age? I don't know.
Probably like 10,
no kids.
10 and 11.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so my son brought one of his boyfriends, and then my daughter brought one of her little girlfriends. And, dude, I would just ask him about whatever shit, like deforestation and pollution in the ocean and shit like this. Dude, these kids have an amazing perspective, right? And so I think you're right, man. Kids have something special, and we're fucking, I mean, unfortunately, and I'm trying to be better now that you realize this shit, right? They're on summer break, but it's like, fuck, you had a COVID break. Your summer's fucking over, in my opinion. So it's like, got the new iPhones, downloaded Google Calendar. Okay, put this at this time, this at this time. You're going to walk the dog. You're going to have your chores. You're going to play the instrument. You're going to do this. You know what I mean? And then I white space. We talk about white space in the calendar. And I say, okay, all that space that there's nothing there, do whatever the fuck you want on that time. Yeah, it's your time, right? But on that other shit, you better get it done, right?
Well, and I think that's discipline, basically, and discipline is happiness in a weird way. And I think someone has a book, Jocko or David Goggins. These guys, that when I need motivation, I watch them. But they talk about like discipline is happiness. Because you're a little unhappy when you have some beers and you drink after a good run, you're fucking happy. But you do that 4 days with being not doing shit, being behind, your house is dirty, your business is backed up. It doesn't feel good.
No, absolutely. And it's an escape. And you know what? My coach, she tells me all the time, like, eat the frog, right? Like, if there's something you don't want to do, fucking do it. Just do it. Get it over with. Because
eat the frog.
It's like, you don't want to eat this frog, right? It's a frog, and it's like, I don't know what it means, but it's like...
Tyson would disagree with you. Like, take that frog right now.
But it's like, if you put it off and you wake up in the morning, it's still there. Ugh. You still got to deal with it in the morning, Just get the shit done, man.
Especially if you like to party, like, which I have since I was about 13, 14, I have to pull back on partying a lot. And I got lucky and got away with a lot of shit partying and also studying and working hard and advance. But it is something where it's like, I might be missing out here.
On what?
Whatever. this fucking gateway experience on this fucking $1 million that might be sitting there gold under the pyramid, you know, whatever.
But isn't this the time though? I mean, typically it's, you know, mid-30s where you start to realize what life is worth and what life is. And everybody has to go through this, right? And then even having kids, I think about this shit all the time, right? Like I try to preach to my kids about like, oh, being an adult is this and this and bills and this. But you can't, right? Because they got to go through the 20s and they got to go through their mid-20s and then they got to go through the 30s.
They can set them up right, proper.
Yeah, right.
Nice launching pad.
Exactly, right. But I think we're at that age where it's like, what the fuck are we doing? We got to fucking learn up on shit, brush up on shit.
So I kind of agree, but also kind of disagree in a little way because I've been waves. Like my whole life's been waves. Like fucking peak, like shit. Like I'm fucking broke.
Okay.
I'm fucking eating 2 bananas a day because that's all I could afford. I fucking got holes in my jeans. Like holy fuck. And then I just like I remember like at one point handing my cousin my bong and weed. And being like, fucking take this away from me. And I knew he would smoke it up. And he's like, I think it was his bong.
I'll take a bong.
It was his bong he originally gave me anyways. But I gave it back to him. But I was like, and then my life advanced in the next 2 years. But then you start smoking weed because you feel like, okay, I've earned it. But then shit might hit the fan or you might transition or pivot. And then you have to do the same thing. And so for me, I agree, but it's been waves. But I would definitely say that my half brother, who's like 40 something, just had his birthday a couple weeks ago. Shout out to Rusty. Rusty, I don't think had a good childhood, but you wouldn't know that talking to him. Fucking, you know, I've only met him a couple times last few years, and I went out to see him, and fucking cool dude, fucking great dude. And you say, well, I asked him, how are you a great dude? Like he kind of got abandoned at a young age. I saw where he grew up. It's the fucking worst place I've ever seen that, and compared to third world countries, you know. And he's happy about it. He's like, yo, these people give me a spot. These people help me out, and it's it just he mentioned something to my dad that I overheard that said, what is it about the Yoders? They have to get in their like mid-30s to fucking man up, like handle business. Like, and I remember I like took that to heart. Like, fuck, I better, you know. And I'm thinking about my other brother and shit. Like, fuck yeah, sometimes we're a little late to the game. It seems like.
Well, I wouldn't say, man. I don't think it's late. I think this is, you know, well, shit. I mean, all of our friends are like this. You know, I talk to Nate and Art and Mike and you know all these guys all the time, and it's not that we have that direct conversation like, hey, we're 35, we got to do something with our life. But it's just like the conversations change, right? It's like over the years, like, oh, yeah, you know, this and this and that. But now it's like get in shape, ride a bike, do this, calendar, exercise, like, you know, shit like this. And I probably different because I had kids, you know, at an early age too. But definitely, man. And this goes back to training the mind. I mean, they even say like this is something that you and I can do. It's just repetitiveness. It's doing it all the time.
Did you see what they said about when his meditation takes about 15 to 20 years to get on that level?
Oh, yeah.
Give me those frequencies in the air.
Right.
At the same time, I was like, but it's better earned. It's better earned.
Right.
And but you know, I have been thinking. You know, I've been with friends that got married and have kids. Obviously, I've waited till the last fucking moment. You know, I'm still
nothing
not
wrong
married
with
with
that.
kids. Yeah, you know, that's just always been me, and I don't regret it at all.
No, nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, I just wanted to be in a position to give my kids a better life than I had, and so I knew I had to do some things, and also I wanted to be on my deathbed and enjoy life, and I think kids is, I don't know, like you know more than me, but I feel like that's gonna be a huge moment. But it reminds me of a conversation I had with a guy. I was like, hey, you just had a kid. What's it like, man? I heard that's a life-changing experience. He's like, they're all lying to you. They're miserable. But he was kind of joking. Cool. Sean, shout out to Sean from 2600 Hertz. But, you know, he was obviously joking. But you know, it is like, you know, I've been in conversations with people where they stop calling, they stop answering, they avoid it. And I never, you know, I would get madder in my early years, but I had to understand they're on a different track at this point. Because I was on a different track, and my track was savage, wild, and crazy. And Joe Rogan just had Post Malone on the podcast.
Oh, I need to watch that.
It was cool. Post
you
Malone's
watched it?
25. I watched most of it, and Joe Rogan's 52. And they relate. They take shrooms, I think, and they're drinking because he loves Bud Light, cheap ass beer.
I seen that in his Instagram page.
Yeah, he's like Post Malone was here.
Yeah,
just cigarettes and Bud Lights. But they talk about that, and you could tell that's why Joe Rogan's cool. He got on his level. He got fucked up, and they just talked about bullshit and aliens and whatever. But they talked about the creativity level with partying, and you go back to like Stephen King. Stephen King had a party regiment. You go back to Fear and Loathing Las Vegas. Who wrote that? Was Gonzo writing Fear and Loathing. Shit.
I don't know.
All right, the tequila is kicking in. But you guys know who it is. I should know this, dude. I know it, but I met his neighbor. Fuck, Gonzo Writing. Hunter S. Thompson. Thank you. Thank you, universe. Hunter S. Thompson. But, you know, he had a drug regimen that would blow your fucking socks off. And he's was epic. So creativity, there's a level, but I'm at the point now where it's like, okay, I want to find the balance between the wild man and the peaceful man.
Well, you know, going back to kids, you know, I'm in a neighborhood where it's predominantly upper class white people, right? And I think like if you break down my kids' school, it's like 70% white, which is unheard of, right? There's only a certain amount of schools that have that nowadays.
Your kid's almost living the opposite life I had.
Right. They totally are. And you know what, but I see these parents with their kids, and they're all older. These parents are 50 years old, and their kids.
Siri just went off, Nick. You set off the government.
I did.
All right.
You spying biatch.
Oh. Goodbye. Get out of here. We're talking Buddha shit.
Well, you know what? But anyways, like you teach your kids these experiences, right? Because what can I teach my kid at 22 years old, right? It's like I've only experienced 22 years of life, only a certain amount
That's
of
when
that.
you first had your kid?
Yeah, well, that's when my kid was born. So by the time I'm teaching
Jordan.
them shit, yeah, right. So by the time I'm teaching them shit, I'm probably 27 years old.
Wow.
So what am I teaching them at 27 years old, right? And so when you're 40 years old and you're teaching kids the shit that you learned in college and then the shit that you learned at your career, and then, you know, that's a difference, man. That's the difference that these kids have that, you know, your kids will have because you're going to teach them all these fucking experiences that you've already had so that they can have that.
But they ain't going to want to hear it.
No, they probably won't. But
guess what? There's like, my kids are probably going to hate me. I've already decided.
Mine do too, Jay. Don't worry.
For good reasons, hopefully.
Right.
But also I've already decided to let go, man. If they're on playing the drums every day or the guitar and they don't want to hear this shit, like let them go. But, I don't like. I think of the emerald tablets or the ether or the fucking knowledge out there. Like I could give you some type of knowledge to get you ahead of the game,
right?
Because a lot of times I felt behind the game, especially growing up in Lindsay with our education. Hell, my English is still savage, but like I felt like if you're from Lindsay, you get it, Nick. Like and being in San Francisco, you realize how far behind you are sometimes.
Oh, dude, I think we had this conversation before, not on the podcast, but when I went to college, I realized how much I didn't know, right? It's like, I'm coming from the valley. I've already got kids. I'm married. Like, I'm just living this valley life, right? And I go to, Sacramento, not a big, huge city, but it's college and it's the university. And, like, I'm having to reread books multiple times, right? It's like, I read a paragraph and it's like, what the fuck did I just
rewind?
Rewind. I had to read that shit again because, like, what the fuck does that even mean? I'm highlighting shit. I have to Google words and it's like we weren't brought up to know this shit, right? Well, at least I wasn't, right? And it's like, what does this mean? And I would constantly ask a buddy of mine, Daniel, actually, he's a smart motherfucker. And what the fuck? What does this mean? Oh, yeah, he break it down for me in layman terms. And like, I didn't know this shit. That's crazy, man.
When it is weird because a bunch of people are scared to ask questions because they look like an idiot. And it took me a long time to get over that. And once I did, I'm so thankful because fuck it. Look like an idiot for a second, but then you advance. And if you keep faking it or keep hanging on to your argument that you might be wrong in just to win, 10 years go by and you still haven't learned shit. And so, I definitely feel that. My dad mentioned, like, I've heard my brother possibly mention, like, we can't read. I think we're dyslexic. I'm like, yeah, I'm from you. Me too. I just reread that paragraph fucking till I get it.
Right.
It might take me all night, but and then it gets better. It gets easier. It gets faster and shit. Like, I wasn't born this way, guys. Like, maybe I was, maybe I wasn't, but I don't think I was because I couldn't get through shit. But they're always like, you're smart. I'm like, I'm just a dog at working hard. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, good point, Jay. And you know what? My wife and I have this conversation all the time. It's an interesting conversation because it gets down to a fucking neurological level, I think. Because we're talking about change, right? And people change, right? And we do change in that sense, right? Because that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. Altering the brain, modifying the brain, enhancing the brain, constantly doing something so that your brain gets adept to familiarizing itself with this. And then, like reading, just something simple like that. But I don't think we change as far as like who we are deep down, right? I think we will always be who we are, and we can change how we go about doing things. But like I got, sometimes I have like anger issues, not crazy anger issues, but right?
Fuck, I must be a Hulk then, because my anger issues compared to yours is extreme.
You're a madman, Jay.
I'm fucking. I gotta get that under control.
But my mom, right? I mean,
yeah.
It's sometimes
party with her.
yeah, sometimes that comes out, and it's like, I don't think that'll ever change me. Like I don't do that often, but when I do, it's not good, right? And not crazy, but it's just not healthy. And so it's like, I don't think that'll ever change. Like I think we could change fundamentally in how we think and how we go about things, but who we are will never change. And fuck, dude, we argue about that. Not argue, but it's like a constant debate between her and I. Yeah,
I talk about a lot. I call it the Yoder DNA. It's something I have to deal with, and maybe some Yoders are listening now, not too happy about that. But and to be honest, some of you might have got more of your mom's side or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I think I don't know, but I think my half brothers like that. But me and my brother, we have these my father's
got the Yoder gene.
We got a Yoder savage DNA. We want to be right. We were rebellious. We were fucking argumentative. We're fucking hotheads. We're always ready to fucking go to war. And it's not a good thing. It's not. It could be good if you need to use it, but most of the time in this society we don't, and it creates more problems, I think. And it's something that I still struggle with today. I still struggle with.
You know what? And that's. But I think it's as cliche as it may sound. I think. Because I feel that same way, right? Like about who I am. And I think everybody should feel that way, right? Like it's like, yes, it's good in certain points, but it's also bad at certain points. And that's about it. And that's about
self-awareness.
It's self-awareness, and it's about like, that means I need you because you're going to help me with this, and you need me because I'm going to help you with this, right? And that's why this podcast works, I think, because you are you and I am me, and it's a good balance of what we offer here. And I think about that with my relationship all the time, right? It's like, fuck, sometimes my wife pisses me off and I'm like, God, I fucking hate you, But most of the time it's like, fuck, like, I can't believe you're here. And like, you are this side of me. Like, if I didn't have a wife, I would wear the same fucking clothes all the damn time. I would never go shopping. I would buy fucking whack ass food, like probably unhealthy food all the time. Right. But my wife.
Do you know men live longer when they're married?
Oh, do they? That doesn't surprise me.
It's been proven because they make them go to the doctor or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways. Right. Exactly that, and it's like, she keeps us well dressed. My kids, like, dude, she just told me the other day, like, the kids need clothes, and I'm like, why? Like, they're not even going to school. Like, we're not going anywhere. Why do they need clothes for? But I get it, right? It's like, well, fuck, they don't have any clothes, that they're growing out of their clothes.
Self-worth.
Yeah, right. Self-worth, exactly, right. Mm-hmm. And I don't have, so it's that balance, right? And dude, people are different for that reason, right? Because we all need each other, right?
Yeah, and it goes back to being connected, and I truly believe that. And man, and like this podcast, me and you've had some arguments. Recently, like a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, we had a pretty serious argument, you know. And I think about that, and I go, man, things would be so much easier if I just do this podcast on my own. And do you know how many years I've thought about doing a podcast? About 5, 6.
Right.
And I never wanted to do it by myself. And half the reason it didn't happen is I probably should have did it by myself, but half the reason it happens, and I was like, why don't I want to do it by myself? I do everything by myself. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm always self-reliant. Like, why? And I don't know what it is, but it's like, I don't know. I enjoy sharing it with someone. I enjoy hearing different views. I enjoy being challenged and challenging. And there's something magical about that. And sorry to get so hippy-dippy, but yeah, I do feel that way. I feel like, fuck, I don't want to be doing it by myself, because then I'm going to be stuck in my own head. The ego's going to grow. I'm going to just spit out shit. And, maybe I will do a podcast by myself one day, but some reason I just never wanted to really just do my own thing on a podcast. I've always I need a person I could talk to and reflect on.
Right. And that's why, I talk about the balance, right? It's like, we obviously have disagreements, but I think that balance is where it needs to be, right? Like, we agree more on what we disagree on, and so the relationship works, right?
Well, and there's a common ground. And I think everyone that disagrees has more in common than they have different. And
right.
I think when you get involved with the news station, I'm not going to go down that road, but you know how I feel about the news, but in politics, but I feel like, man, this is an artificial shift to keep us separated, and it's been going on way too long.
Absolutely.
And, I don't know what the answer is, but...
and it's hard not to fall in that game.
peace and love has got to be the answer. But half the time, you know,
That's hippy dippy J.
go back to the guy, you know, the Vietnam War started, the Buddhist monk who set himself on fire.
Oh yeah, I
Kind
remember
of
that.
sparked off the fucking
Yeah,
Vietnam War.
right.
There's other things that were involved, but this was in the early phase of the war. But Gulf of Tonkin obviously set it off. But false flag. But you know, he apparently didn't scream, didn't flinch. He stayed in his Buddhist lotus pose. And when I was researching the shit, obviously I went back to that. I didn't know there was a video. I haven't watched it yet, but there's video of that. I've only seen pictures.
I watched it in college.
There is video. I've never seen that.
That's dude. That's in journalism actually. When I was doing journalism, that's fucking amazing, dude.
And it obviously he was out of body. He was not
Right.
physical, so nothing could hurt him. But dude, do you know who?
Imagine what their life is like.
Who? Buddhist?
A monk. Yeah, like
There's a cool guy. He went. He does things for like 30 days. He was on a Joe Rogan podcast. Obviously, I can't remember his name because I suck. But David. You know who David Goggins is?
yeah.
So David Goggins is a motherfucker. I love that
monster.
dude. He's a savage. He was a fat black man who, you know, experienced racism and he got a job at Terminex or something. And he was like, "Oh, this is great. I'm at 100% in my shitty apartment." And he talked about eating Slurpees, 7-Eleven Slurpees every night and like just being a fat piece of shit.
Oh, he's a
And
fucking madman.
one day he just went off and now he runs ultra marathons. He was the oldest Navy SEAL to pass BUDS, I believe. And when you hear him talk, I like him because he's like hardcore and I like that hardcore shit.
Right.
Like, hey motherfuckers,
He's hardcore.
I was injured. You think I'm fucking done? I'm fucking running. When it rains, I want to run in front of the best runner's house because they're in bed and I want them to see me through the fucking window. Like I feed off that shit.
Right.
Like my MMA fight, it was just David Goggins every night on the fucking TV.
Oh, wow.
Oh hell yeah.
And he's intense.
Jocko's similar, and but David Goggins really intense, and he's a guy you should definitely check out. But no excuses with that guy. But you know, it is. I don't know, man. It's time for a bathroom break. We gotta leave that in. You want to take a bathroom break?
Oh, that's good. How long have we been recording?
I don't know. I threw my phone. What's your phone say? Start at 6,
It's
a little after
8:30.
6. Oh shit, we done 2 hours?
2.5 hours.
Well, fuck. Do you want to call it?
Fine, we can just call it, man.
Okay, cool, man. I
Yeah,
don't
this has
wanna
been
go
a
on
great fucking.
Is there
podcast.
anything else you want to cover?
No, dude. Fuck no. I mean, we went through
You sure?
everything. Yeah, positive.
'Cause I could go all night, but I know you got shit to do.
No. I mean, I was gonna talk, but it just won't fit in. But well, fuck it. Let's see where it goes. Maybe I'll throw it in there.
Well, we definitely have an ending. I kind of fucked that up.
Well, dude, so the whole fucking brain thing, right? There's a lot of shit that's come out recently. You can literally go online and buy a fucking, what is it called? A transcranial direct current stimulation machine.
The fuck's that?
Dude, it's like a $40 fucking kit, and it comes with these fucking things you put on your brain, and it basically just sends impulses into your brain, and supposedly it stimulates certain parts of your brain. Fucking stupid, dude. It's crazy.
I learned about that at the Academy of Art. Some kid did a presentation on it. I was like, what the fuck?
Dude, people are buying this shit, and people are making their own DIY kits. Fucking nuts.
It's insane. And you know about people putting like chips in their arms for like work and shit, and they like have the passcode. They can
You
buy
mentioned
food.
that.
Dude, it years ago it's happened, but it's happening. I've heard it come up again recently, and it seems to be happening a lot. And I remember reading an article about this company, and a bunch of people are lined up to get this fucking thing shot into them.
They want it.
And I was like, fuck this. And I remember going into the fucking tech company I worked at, and I chose two of the smartest guys I know. One's definitely the smartest guy. I mentioned Carl. I'll just say their names. Carl and Brett. I think they're just fucking peaceful. They're loving, and they're fucking smart. And, you know, not that the rest aren't, but generally if a guy's really smart, you know, he could be a bit of a savage, you know, and maybe his social skills aren't up. But these
Knows his
guys,
shit.
these guys are just very fucking, like we're talking Buddhist level, like happy. You want to hang out.
Okay.
You want to be around them because they're vibes. But also they got on a computer and like, I'm not an engineer, but
They are?
yeah.
Okay.
They're both engineers, but one, Carl, like all the engineers respect him. Like this motherfucker, I don't know how he does that shit. And they're smart as fuck too. So it's crazy to hear smart people talk about another smart guy. Shows how dumb I am. But I asked him, I go, what's up with this? Like, have you guys heard about this article? I just approached them. I think in the morning I came in early and it was only them two there. And I approached both of them and they both answered the same way, which shocked me. They were like,
Article about what?
putting the chip in your arm for a company
right.
to like clock in or buy food or whatever. And they were both like, yeah, I would do that. I was shocked.
Like nothing.
I was hoping for a different answer,
Right.
and I still disagree with it. But I was like, wait, what do you mean? Like, dude, we all have cell phones in our pocket all day. We all have credit cards on us. It's the same shit, except one's embedded in our body, but everyone has a cell phone in their pocket. But I still disagree because that's a company owning you. There's some weird shit that could happen with that. I don't know how it could affect the bloodstream.
And what does a backdoor look on that? Right? Because we have backdoors on phones, right?
What do you mean?
So there's
Back
access.
end?
Yeah, so people can access your phone through
Yeah.
different platforms. And it's I guess it's called the backdoor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you can hack a fucking phone, can you hack that shit, right?
Well, it's weird to be like hired by a company and like, oh, this is mandatory, and then you go get surgery. And like Joe Rogan actually talked about
That's
this. He's like, what if you like go do jujitsu? Because that shit's gonna fucking break in your like fucking
crazy.
grinding away, and like then what? Like it just you have to go back to surgery, and then it's thousands of dollars,
Right.
insurance. It all plays into each other. But
and you know what? I've even heard like rationale behind that is, well, if I'm sick in another country, like they could just scan this shit and they know who I am, they know all my medical records. I get that, but yeah, I'm the same way. And you know what? Actually, I was just talking with Arthur Lua by chance.
come on, Art.
Art, come on down.
Do it. You know you want to. You're nervous. You're like, people will judge me. They'll see me, my job. But fuck them. Do it. You're going to be dead one day.
You know what? People love this shit. You know, and again, you know what? And I was watching Joe Rogan Experience, and I would just mention it here, Jay, that we just fucking sit here and talk a bunch of shit.
Can I get another one of these guys?
Well, yeah, of course.
Speaking of talking shit, I'm trying to keep Nick here.
We might.
This is one of the best podcasts we've done in a long time.
I love it, dude.
I don't know how it's going to react, but I'm fucking enjoying this shit.
Well, that's exactly what I was saying is like,
Thank you.
dude, we're just talking shit. He was talking. Actually, I was a little concerned also about the video on the last one, Jay. You ran a pretty significant chunk of time on that video.
Yeah, I always feel bad because sometimes but sometimes I edit the videos and I go, fuck, I talk a lot. And I go on rants. But also I know sometimes like maybe you don't know about Bohemian Grove or you know a little bit and it's like...
well, especially your comedians.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that. You got into George Carlin, the great George Carlin.
We went way off subject.
Hey, go down the flow, bro.
Yeah, dude, you know what? So Jay always mentions this George Carlin comedian on the podcast.
And everyone knows, anyone that's into comedy, most older guys know about him.
Right.
Legend.
And this is my downfall as a human being is my memory fucking sucks. And that can go back to smoking weed in 4th grade.
It does suck because I always said my memory sucks, but I'm fucking Einstein compared to like you really forget everything.
Dude, I do. Yeah, and everybody that knows me knows that, you know.
It's kind of a blessing almost.
It kind of is.
Forget all the drama.
Oh, for sure. It kind of is. And so George Carlin, like I listened to all his shit, but of course I don't like it just never dawns on me to put a name to the shit because I'm just listening to Pandora, right? And it's just on there. So it's like, you know, I never put 2 and 2 together. And then one day I'm listening to it. I'm working on a car and so I wonder who this is because I love this motherfucker. He's always talking real shit. Look, his name, fucking George Carlin. I was like, shit, this is the guy Jay's talking about. I listen to this guy all the time, you know? And so I called Jay, like, hey, Jay, fuck, I do trip out. I fucking listen to this guy all the time.
Well, we talked about Dave Chappelle and
Right.
like comics are the ones I listen to. Like I listen to them because they're gonna give me the truth because they're already putting their head on the block. Like I'm being real, especially nowadays with PC culture. They're like, fuck it.
They don't give a fuck.
I respect that because it's dangerous and scary and more so today. Maybe not like the 50s and 40s, the Red Scare and all that shit, but like, fuck, man. These guys were talking from day one. Like there's certain people that look around and go, this is all bullshit. And some people are like, you're being negative. You know, it's like, no, you're being an idiot.
Well, it's kind of scary too because I hope that doesn't end, man. You know, with the cancel culture and
keep
you know,
comedy alive, bro.
You know, hey, good hashtag, Jay. I'm gonna throw that shit up there.
Well, just like science, you gotta keep comedy alive because they're gonna tell you what it is, and they're not gonna sugarcoat things. Now, some comics will, but we don't want to listen to them. You could tell they're not funny. But like, did you ever get into Bill Hicks? I told you about Bill Hicks.
Yeah, I watched a couple of videos. Yep.
He does like a lot of LSD, and he died of cancer, but he has some fucking trippy.
Well, I didn't read his history. I just saw a couple.
But he talks about the same shit. Like,
well, dude, George Carlin has a bit on religion.
oh yeah.
Oh, dude, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, like it's real shit. Like dude, I'm like, yeah, preach that shit. He's almost preaching at the same time.
It could be a pastor.
I love that shit. And you know what? That's why I love Chris Rock too, because he's always talking about real shit, and he's like preaching, right? But he's making it funny. But he's almost proving a point.
Yeah, and you know, man, comedy is great. You know, we gotta get Danny on here. Danny's a comedy fan, and we could go off and someone you mentioned, Woods, something last name. I don't know.
Oh, Lance Woods, right.
He's a local comic or something.
Yeah, right.
But there's so many boundaries, and you can learn a lot from comics from Patrice O'Neal, talking about Patrice O'Neal was fighting feminists in the 90s, you know, and protecting comedy. Not only doing that, but we're also protecting comedy. Feminism, it's great, but it's gone. Sometimes it goes a little over the lines where they don't want no jokes to be talked, and men got to be men sometimes.
Yeah, right.
And he was defending as a fat black man, and I fucking love Patrice. But Patrice is a guy who never folded to the TV shows, never got the shows because he just wouldn't fold. He
Yeah,
would speak his mind,
I love that
and
shit.
he's dead now and should be the most famous, in my opinion, one of the top 5 comics ever. But most people don't know him because of that. I mean, most people know him. He's big, but should be at the ultimate level. But I don't know. He should be Joe Rogan level for sure.
What about God damn it! Daniel Tosh. What do you think about that guy?
Yeah, Daniel Tosh is funny as fuck, but I don't know. Like, I've never seen his stand-up. I've just seen his TV shows. I don't know.
Okay. Oh, you never seen his stand-up?
Never.
Well, I don't.
I think
watch
I
it.
have clips, maybe.
Pandora. I just listened again on Pandora, but it's
He got in trouble for something. What did he get? Rape jokes.
He's out there, man.
Yeah, he goes extreme.
He's extreme. And you know who else is extreme? That I liked at the beginning, but it just got too extreme too quick, and I gave up on him. Was Carlos Mencia.
Dude, oh my God, Nick, do you know about Carlos Mencia and Joe Rogan?
I know nothing about them. No.
All right, we got to go into this. Can I, dude, Nick? If you got to leave, but if I take a piss, can we talk about this?
Let's do
Carlos
it.
Mencia. All right,
Let's do it.
All right.
Break time. You know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know anything about Carlos Mencia other than listening to his shit for a little bit, because that's when actually George Lopez was getting big, and a lot of these Hispanic comedians like Fluffy, what's his name? I forget his name.
Iglesias?
Yeah, Enrique. No, not Enrique.
I forget.
Yeah, I forget too. But and then Carlos Mencia came out. When he first came out, I liked his shit, but it got pretty intense pretty quick, and I kind of just fell off as a fan. But yeah, I don't know anything about him and Joe Rogan. Spill it, Jay.
So Carlos Mencia, you mentioned George Lopez, and being from the Valley, you listen to a lot of George Lopez. He was the man.
Yeah, right.
And I fucking love George. He was probably my first like real comedian I got deep into, just because every party you went to he was on. And I remember we would sit in the garage of like Adrian Gutierrez, I think, and we'd go to Exeter, and Jesse Silva was there, Ant Marino, and we would just fucking put out some chairs. Kobe was there, and we'd just fucking listen to George Lopez out loud on his lowrider truck speakers.
Nice.
And drink some beers and just fucking laugh.
Badass.
And I loved it. And most of it, like, I can't breathe. Remember that? Fucking great.
Yeah.
Talks about his parents leaving him when they're going
Right.
somewhere. You better get in the car. They're leaving your ass. And I fucking love it. But
It was
anyways,
good.
George Lopez threw Carlos Mencia up against the wall, I believe, or was Bernie Mac. I don't know. I think it was George Lopez. So Carlos Mencia was on top of the world. We were probably like in high school or something.
Right.
And he had a TV show on some channel, and very funny guy. But Joe Rogan, who was lesser known at the time, which is hard to believe today, but is definitely true. The Comedy Store, which is the famous store in LA, which makes or break you, and Joe Rogan witnessed, and other people have witnessed, and Joe Rogan in the comedy circles have heard stories about Carlos Mencia stealing jokes. So Carlos Mencia,
How do you do that?
so he would invite openers on the road, and to an opener that's huge. You're a broke comic, you're making no money, you're living in the fucking
Right.
cars, who knows where you're living. And then Carlos Mencia has money, buys you some dinner, he bought Bobby Lee at his first car. He did some good things.
Okay.
Bobby Lee, he treated Bobby Lee very well, and helped Bobby Lee's career. And he would go take these young comics on the road, sit in the back with a notebook and write all the jokes down, and then fucking X out the opener and do the jokes.
Wow.
And Ari Shaffir, you know Ari Shaffir, right? Got in
Yeah,
trouble for the
right.
Kobe Bryant shit. He, one of his jokes got stolen about building the wall. It was something like, I forget the joke, but it was like, because they talked about the wall way before Trump. We
Right.
think of Trump, but it was way before him.
Oh, yeah.
We're building a wall. Who the fuck you think's gonna build it? Mexicans, And so he kind of took a version of Ari Shaffir's joke and changed it. So, anyways, he did this to George Lopez. He did this to a lot of fucking people.
Wow. I didn't know that.
It's pretty common. Like back in the
Interesting.
40s, 50s, comics were stealing from each other, and if you're on TV, it was yours. And
Well, especially for these fuckers that are opening up, right? Because what are you gonna say? They're gonna believe you, or they're gonna believe someone?
You got
big?
TV time, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
right.
You don't even got access to the public, and so Amy Schumer is one that comes to mind now. Amy Schumer is she blames it on her writers. Maybe it's true. I don't know, but there's probably some joke stealing there. But and sometimes comics steal jokes on accident. You hear a bunch of shit, you fucking write a joke, or it's kind of the same thing with music. I heard you make a song and you don't realize this is in your brain already. But
there's only so much shit you can actually write about, right?
Yeah, but there's always tons of shit. It's infinity.
Right.
But it's hard when you're influenced by comics. And I heard a lot of comics say they don't listen to other comics. But anyways, let's get to the story. But so he was at the Comedy Store performing, killing it.
Joe Rogan?
No, Carlos Mencia.
Okay.
Carlos Mencia was gold.
Okay, right.
Sell out every night at the Comedy Store. They loved him. Management loved him. So Joe Rogan, who was a lesser comic at the time, hard to believe, he's huge now, but he wasn't then. And he got on stage. I think he wore a college shirt. It was from the movie with Jim Belushi anyways, when they were in college. Anyways, it's just college. People were in college. He just
right.
I don't know. Joe Rogan was such a bum back then, like a savage. But he got on stage and he started yelling at Carlos Mencia, which is a big no-no.
And Carlos Mencia is in the crowd?
Carlos Mencia is on stage performing.
Oh, shit. He came while he was performing.
He came on, and the crowd's loving Carlos Mencia.
Oh,
so
wow.
that's dangerous for Joe Rogan as a lesser comic who's less popular. No one really might know him, might not. And he gets on stage because he believed morally it was fucking wrong. And Ari Shaffir's his friend, and all these other guys he's heard for years and years, and watched this guy get famous and make money. So he got on stage and called this fool out. And he yelled at him, and at first the crowd's like, "Fuck Joe," they're like working with Carlos Mencia because they already won him over. Well, someone that worked there handed Joe Rogan a mic. He's like, "Give me a fucking mic," and then he gets a mic, and then Joe Rogan turns. And this is the power of Joe Rogan.
Can you watch this?
You want to watch it?
No. Well, yeah. Well, fuck it. Let's watch it.
You want to watch it?
Well, I don't know. Are we gonna have to get out of that program?
Nope. I think we should. You got to see this.
I know you saying that you're acting like a little bitch. No, you're not saying that. Yes. They're not agreeing with you. They don't even know what the fuck I do. They don't even know what the fuck I do. They don't know shit. You just talk shit. It's easy to say you steal shit. I could say you steal shit, but I don't, because I'm not a little bitch. No, let me tell you what I think. I think that every time you open your mouth, you talk about me, I think that you're secretly in love with me because you can't shut the fuck about me. That's what I personally fucking think. You always open your fucking mouth about me. You always say what the fuck you want about me. I'll tell you what George Lopez thinks. White people! George Lopez actually said on Howard Stern that he doesn't want any other Hispanic comedian to make it except for him.
Yeah, maybe he said that
shit comes from.
That's a funny thing to say. That's what a comic would say.
No, he says that because he's like everybody else. They're jealous because
jealous of you fat fuck.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I'm jealous of anybody. It's not gonna be a guy who steals material. I am inspired by other comics.
So Joe Rogan did this at Piddle Porn. He was on some TV show back then, Fear Factor, so he's making some bank.
Okay.
But he was doing UFC for free, I think, and UFC wasn't making much money back then. And he wanted to be a comic. Since 22, he's wanted to be a comic. And but he has a martial arts background, so I think that's why he never was scared. But he was banned from the Comedy Store after this.
Really?
And he didn't go back for like 10 plus years.
Oh shit.
I know he was banned for a long time, and then he got big. He started the podcast. No one's listening to the podcast. He fucking went on his own, and that's why he's someone to fucking listen to, because he knows what it's like to lose everything. And he Ari Shaffir was the door guy at the Comedy Store, and that's how young comics started. They become the door guy, check IDs, host or whatever, and hope to get on stage.
Right.
And Ari Shaffir finally got big enough where he got like a special or a main set, and Joe Rogan said, "Okay, I gotta let this shit go to go support him at the Comedy Store." So he went to the Comedy Store, but Carlos Mencia has never survived this. Once this got big, Carlos Mencia has done small shows. I saw he was in Visalia like a year ago. He's Fox Theater. He's doing small shows when he used to sell out. And he was on a podcast recently, and he still kind of defends it, which sucks because people are forgiving. And if he would come out and be like, I stole jokes. I'm sorry. I'm a changed man.
Right.
People would love to see him. I would go
Totally.
watch him if he admitted that, because
Right.
people will let you, if you apologize and show humility, people are generally, even on the internet, they tend to be pretty cool.
Right.
But he's still, it's 10 plus 13 years, like fucking still.
Has Joe Rogan talked about this?
Joe Rogan used to talk about it a lot in the podcast, and he's like, I can't talk about this anymore. This is just like consuming me. But a year or two ago, actually someone asked him about it, and it's the first time we talked about it in years. And he said, I wish him the best. I wish him greatness. And for me as a fan, I would love to see Carlos Mencia become humbled and apologize, let it go.
Right.
He's still hanging on to, no, I was great. You were great, but you were stealing. And to see him come on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh, he was on Joe Rogan's podcast?
No, but I want that. I dream of the day. And I don't know if Joe Rogan would ever allow it just because of the negativity, but and also he's never really came out and apologized and admitted. I mean, you got George Lopez, you have tons, you have a stack full of people.
Yeah.
Bobby Lee, who he helped, was nervous to talk about it because he was going to lose money.
Right.
And Bobby Lee's pretty honest about it
that's tough.
today, because Bobby Lee's got his own income now.
But Mike Tyson had Evander Holyfield on the show, and he bit his fucking ear off.
Yeah, but Holyfield did nothing wrong. But Tyson showed humility. He's apologized
Right.
publicly multiple times.
Yeah, right.
In the 90s, late 90s, I think he was on the TV show and they met and he apologized.
Okay.
Yeah, and
But that's all you gotta do, man. Is say, hey, I fucked up.
yeah, and it's hard. I get it, but fuck, dude, Carlos Mencia, so many years have gone by. Let it go, and it's hard to argue. There's video footage. There's multiple comics that come out, and it's gross that he did that. Apparently, that was normal, so maybe he just got cut off with time. But yeah, Joe Rogan almost lost everything because of
Dude,
that.
you know what? I gained a little bit of respect for Joe Rogan right now because that's, I never watched that video, and that took some fucking balls, dude, to go out and do that.
Yeah, and lost a lot of money because of it. And almost, he might have, we could have never heard of Joe Rogan, but he decided to stick his fucking cleats in and fucking fight. And the thing, that was aggro Joe. Joe was very aggro. Joe was testosterone filled. He hated weed. I don't know at that age. He probably was smoking weed then, but he didn't smoke weed till 30. He was against it. There's stories of him like yelling at Joey Diaz for smoking weed and like being a dick about it. But Eddie Bravo got him high and changed his life. But it took a long time. Now he's always at the Comedy Store, but it took about 10 plus years. Yeah, great conversation, Nick. This was fucking awesome.
Fuck yeah.
Even if this shit wasn't recording, this is the type of shit I like. This is the type of shit I live for, these conversations.
Adventure, baby. Cheers. And if you made it this far, thank you very much. And subscribe. Hit that subscribe button.
And look up Arthur Lua's social media. I feel like he doesn't have any social media. I don't know.
Right.
It's like off the grid.
Fucking
But
ghosted.
if you know him, hit him up and pressure him to come on. Because Art's a conspiracy theorist, and we know y'all love that shit.
Oh, yeah.
But
Soon.
all right,
Soon
man.
enough.
And all right, that's it. Water Tower Podcast number 17 out. We love you, and look out for that Patreon. I've been talking about for months now. But yeah, it's just all free. It's all free for now, and it'll be free forever. But you know, if you pay, you might get some perks. But anyways, we appreciate you. We thank you, and leave comments if I don't know, you disagree with us or whatever. And some of you guys done in the past, and we appreciate it. And we're looking for interesting and entertaining people.
Peace the fuck out.
All right, we love you all, bitches, and we're out.